going on? I am Nando.
And I'm, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Hello, I am Diggins. If you would like to continue this podcast, then you will have to bypass the security protocols. Say a bypass podcast intro if you would like to bypass podcast intro.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry, I don't recognize that command.
Oh, God,
I was
it
on my
hurts.
way home from the supermarket doing my Harland, excuse me. That would be, but doing my Smith impression in the car ride. I think my Smith impression is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll try to pepper it in naturally to the thing, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, Smith is here." But yeah, it's the only impression I've ever done where I'm like, "This might be." I maybe want to get this movie to be a hit so that I can use this for stuff. 'Cause I don't think this is really going to come out in the
I'm
world.
excited.
To be clear, I wasn't really trying to do a Smith. I was just doing generic robot.
Wait, are we all? Is this a Smith off?
I don't even remember his voice enough to try.
I think we should do a Smith off
I
because
think
there'll be no point of reference except for the cats who watch this movie. They
Yeah,
can
nobody
all
knows
get
what it
together.
sounds like, so
They can get,
people might
together-
think you did a perfect one.
they can get together in cat council and be like, "Yep, that's who won the Smith off."
Mm-hmm. But we'll save it because we got to talk
Yeah.
about everybody's favorite movie this week, the big movie that's making a huge impression on society, the number one movie that everybody watched, Atlas.
According to Netflix.
According to Netflix, yeah. And you know what? It's the big movie. I remember seeing a trailer or two for it, and then it came out. It's currently rocking a strong double digits in Rotten Tomatoes. Just
Better than
barely
I
eking out
expected.
double digits, but yeah, it's pretty wild. So we're going to talk about that.
I mean, Ted Sarandos said that Barbie and Oppenheimer would have done just as well on Netflix as they did in theaters, and I think this is proof.
I hate
Well, this
him
has
so much.
both Barbie-ness and Oppenheimer-ness, right? Because it's about like a robot becoming real, which is Barbie kind of, and then it's about a bomb, so it's Oppenheimer. So if anything,
I
this
like
is
that.
the algorithm making them both the same thing.
This
So-
is the Barbenheimer movie.
Yeah. And we'll see what it does. You know, it took Barbie and Oppenheimer a little while to like make all their money and have that big cultural moment. And like Atlas, it's only been a couple of days, but you know, maybe it's the hot new thing. You know, it's not the hot new thing, you guys.
What?
Moana 2.
Oh,
Just kidding.
no.
Tijuana. Is that what we're calling it? Is there a thing for this?
I'm not familiar with the Internet's decided.
Motua.
Sequel that will underwhelm. Is that? Could we go with that?
No, that's too
How dare you.
vague. There's a lot. That could be quite a few of these. They're making a Moana trailer or 2 movie. Moana 2,
They
The
already
Rock's
made
in
the
it.
trailer.
They did.
Thank
Well, they made the
goodness.
teaser trailer. Maybe they'll make a trailer too. Wouldn't that be something? Break the internet. You guys, not Ralph breaks the internet though. I just mean it will break the internet.
Well, they might have some similarities to Ralph Breaks the Internet.
It might have some similarities. Yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, Moana was in that, so
That's true.
there's already
That's
one
true.
similarity.
That's one similarity right there.
Yep. It's probably not going to be very
There's
good.
going to be
That's the other
a
one.
big man and a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't seem so little anymore though.
Um,
She seems all grown up. And the pig too.
That's
they
true.
grew up Moana and the pig.
Did they age up the
The
pig?
pig seems like a more mature pig versus a piglet in like the
Oh,
first
yeah.
Moana. It's like full pig now.
He's got like a
Yeah, in the
tooth.
teaser trailer, if you're paying attention, you can see it's doing its taxes.
Mm-hmm. I think, and they gave Moana like a slightly different outfit, classic Disney.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Sell
good.
those costumes.
yeah. What was the highlight of the Moana 2 trailer for you
That
guys?
sand looked incredible. Those animators spent countless hours away from many Christmases to make that sand look so good. That's my takeaway.
They do a good job. Yeah.
What about you, Diggins?
Diggins, what about you?
My favorite part was seeing, oh, there's going to be a Moana 2. I wonder how that's going to be.
What do you think it will be?
And I watched it. It's all downhill
Yeah,
from
that
there.
makes sense. So you're not high on it? Pretty low?
I mean, maybe it'll be good. I don't want to pass judgment before I see it. I really like the first Moana. But Nando mentioned some information about this one that has me less enthused.
Yeah. Now I'm pretty sure this is true. Apparently, the way that it works is this was originally going to be maybe this is a rumor, but I think this is pretty pretty like held up. It's going to be a TV show, like a streaming show, and they decided to smush the streaming show together into a movie, and then that's what this is. So it has something to do with Disney wanting to release the movie that this is. I guess it could partially be that they were like, we don't have a lot of movies this year, because they don't, because a lot of them get bumped, or it could be that they were like, this movie makes $0 on streaming, and we could make it make some dollars in theaters. So it's not wrong.
Do you think that they could follow that logic to its conclusion, or do you think that they won't?
I don't know. I mean, the problem is it might not make money, even though if they spend money advertising it and it bombs, it could be negative money.
I don't see how Moana 2 doesn't make a ton of money. The first movie is just so popular. Although, let's do some math.
We're transitioning into the next news, DJ. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Real quick. How old, if you were a 7 or 8 year old, so like key demo when Moana came out, how old are you now? I legitimately don't know when this movie came out, like originally.
I think it was about 10 years ago, right?
So their
Moana?
core demo are now in their mid to late teens. That probably works.
Yeah. Okay. So 2016. So yeah, by 8 years.
So yeah, their core demos in there are like teenagers now. Like you saw Moana, big nostalgia. Oh, they're making the second one. Thank God. Yeah, I think that plays.
That would be funny if that was the title for it. Moana, big nostalgia. They're making a second one. Oh my God.
I mean, it'll probably make big money in the same way that Frozen 2 made big money.
Yeah.
And that all the kids who love Frozen wanted to see it, and then they watched it and they were like,
yeah.
Oops. Oh no.
I do think the thing about this trailer that surprised me the most, besides, that it's actually happening, is that no Lin-Manuel Miranda in it, no music in general. Seems like that was one of the big selling points of the original Moana.
yeah.
I assume that means he's not involved with this, because otherwise I feel like they would have said he was. So maybe The Rock is doing all the music. He did that rap song that one time.
We loved it so much.
The most Lin-Manuel Miranda song in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, excuse me. I mean the one where it's about hustle, it's about power. That rap song. Like,
it's not putting in the hours.
Yeah, that could be in here now, and like stuff like that.
That's true. Yeah. This movie's really about Maui getting on his grind set.
Yeah, this is the origin of Zoa energy drink or something. He's just sailed the island to Terramana to get the Zoa energy crystals or something.
What are the chances that Zoa energy drinks get a shout out, or even obliquely?
Honestly, I think we're closer on Terramana. I think
I just don't think Disney would let him shout out his tequila in a kids movie.
That is probably an issue.
I don't think it'll be, because so I don't think Zoa is popular enough for it to be worth it. But I do think with Terramana there could be maybe like a bit where they go to like the island of Terra, and he says like, "Oh, Terra, man, I wish I had some tequila," or something like that, and then that's it.
Or
and then
the island of Terra is where they get mana,
right?
Like the energy of the gods.
Yeah, I think you could get away with something like that. And then, because I feel like it'll be like a stupid tweet joke from the last movie that's now broken, that doesn't work,
Yeah.
Where he said a thing about Twitter and it was like, this is a fit. But I think it might be that. I don't know. Does Oli Carvalho have her own branded energy drink or something? Because then she could throw that in here too. Probably not.
I don't think so.
She's got to get with it.
She could advertise that Mean Girls musical movie she was in.
Yeah, that's true. They gave her some of the parts from the other girl in that one song I like. And I was like, probably a good idea. Probably smart. But, that's just one news. The other news, all the movies are dead, you guys. Movies are dead now.
One. They're all dead.
Except for Atlas, but the other ones are dead. This year, all the movies have flopped except for Dune, pretty much. Dune 2. Including this week Garfield, which didn't completely flop, but didn't do as well as analysts had expected. Furiosa, obviously. There were some other ones in past weeks that have also flopped, like Ghostbusters and stuff. That just kind of, we were like, yeah, that's what those movies do, right? But this one was surprising because the reviews were positive, and I don't know, people thought it would be good.
Now, I will say that while studios bank a lot of the money they make back on opening weekend. And so for them, it's disappointing to not have a good opening weekend. The movie is, good.
Mm-hmm.
And I might have some more words about that later, vis-a-vis Furiosa.
How did it do when you take in things like international sales, action figures, video game
like
rights?
DVDs.
How did those all play into it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously we always want those numbers to be higher, but when you take...
I mean, honestly, Chris Hemsworth probably has some sort of branded energy drink that he could work into this if he wanted to, He's on a hustle grind set bullshit. He also has an exercise app, doesn't he?
Really? Oh,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he does. I downloaded it once and then it costed money, so I undownloaded it. But
goodbye.
Yeah, he does. Yep. I only have room for one app that costs money. That Mark Wahlberg Reads Me Prayers app. We love it, people. Still good.
What if there was an app where The Rock read you prayers?
Oh, or Mark Wahlberg reads me prayers while he gives me exercise stuff, because he also does nothing but exercise all day.
That's the triple crown. That's the final
burgers.
form.
There you go.
Yeah. Like, I just need an app that gives me all of my day with Mark Wahlberg telling me what to do at those moments, like grill a cheeseburger, do 50 push-ups, 15 Hail Marys, like.
You need to synchronize with the Mark Wahlberg AI, so it can always be in your head telling you what to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and has he been in a movie this year? Did he have a bomb? I can't even.
He had Arthur the King.
Oh yeah, what happened with that?
I mean, it probably made back its money, because I doubt it was that expensive.
Yeah.
But I don't think people liked it very much.
I'm seeing 34 million worldwide, so probably not great, but yeah, I can't imagine it costs more than like 15. Let's see. Arthur the King budget. You guys, 19 million. Wow. Pretty close. Arthur the King, huge success. If not so much. But yeah, we had a lot of movies this year that have done poorly, even though people expected they would do great. You guys want to
finish my thought that I was in the middle of? Sorry.
Oh yeah, right.
While studios bank on the opening weekend, and so it'll always be disappointing for them if it doesn't have a huge opening weekend, if a movie is good, typically word of mouth and people seeing it again and things like that lead it to continue to perform well, instead of having like a 90% drop off after opening weekend. And it accumulates money over time. This used to be how the movie business worked, you see.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the thing I think is this tough is, because of expectations, it is already a failure. So why would anyone even go see it? We all have to do that thing where we hold like apes and wait. If we wait 2 weeks, they'll put it on DVD and then we can watch it for, $20 at our house or on our phone. That's just as good.
Yeah. You
as
can
Lawrence
see it
of Arabia on our phone.
Infinitely worse experience. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
In your opinion, because you didn't commit the sin of beating up that witch that one time, but everyone else did.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone they beat up that witch. So
literally just you two.
Sure.
Everybody on X. Yeah, I feel like I got a lot of responses this week when I was like, I hate movie theaters. Everybody was like, me too, they suck. And then a bunch of other people were like, I live in Europe. No. And I'm like, I know, but it's an America thing, kind of.
Right, because Nando hates being amongst the unwashed masses. He's a coastal elite who thinks that being exposed to other people is an affront to his dignity. Meanwhile, I am a common man. I have the heart of a true American, and I love being amongst my people.
Yeah.
My people.
Mm-hmm. Your people. Wow, Diggins. Wow. This Furiosa really has... changed you. You saw Mr. Demento or whatever, and you were like, I like his philosophy that probably is racism or something.
Dr. Demento is the radio personality who gave Weird Al his start. Dementis
isn't he in this?
Is the warlord in Furiosa.
Oh.
I've heard multiple people make this mistake.
I do, but I thought the guy from the Weird Al movie was in this. I thought that was what they were going for.
Rainn Wilson?
Like, yeah, in the future, Rainn Wilson gets jacked and gets a big old nose and turns into Chris Hemsworth, like in the Wasteland future, and puts on a shitty, Australian accent, to blend in because it's Australia. Although apparently it's a good accent, and obviously it is because he's Australian. But
I was
like,
gonna say, Chris Hemsworth is from Australia, right?
Right, but it's like a weird. So I've heard people describe it as a weird kind of historical '80s Australia accent that like only old men have. But like, if you're from Australia, you're like, oh yeah, I know people like that. But if you're not, if I did it, you'd be like, what are you doing? That's not a real accent.
If they're just running around going
like,
Aussie, 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 that's like all they're doing.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be talking like, do you have it in you to make it epic?
I feel like it's more nasally, but yeah, I think you're on the right track for sure. Can you do it by holding your nose?
Do you have it in you to make it epic?
Now I'm getting
what's it missing?
40s American baseball announcer.
Yeah.
Like, he's rounding the third down, going home. He's gonna slide it and tag him.
There's too much New York in that, I think, with the nasaliness.
What are other lines he says? We can do this.
Do you have the testes to ride with the Mentis?
Do you have the testes? Because I feel like he's got a really like, it's like SpongeBob saying all these lines. Like, I don't know how to get that out of you.
Squidward.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. DJ, good job. That's
you
what
have
it
it in
like.
you to make it interesting, Patrick.
Mmm.
We're doing a Dementis off and a Smith off in the same pod. This is at least theoretically people saw Dementis. We won't have to get the cat council.
I don't know, DJ, because here's the thing. This also didn't do well. I want to just go through real quick. This is the box office for this year.
Okay.
It really is pretty astounding when you break it down. Worldwide as well, which I think is even funnier when you look at some of these numbers. You want to just take some guesses? Number one movie, we've already said Dune 2. Number two movie this year worldwide. Highest grossing. It's one we did on the podcast.
Night Swim.
No, it's on the list eventually. 21.
Is it Apes?
No. Well, not the one you think. But
Kong.
Godzilla Kong, number 2. Number 3, a movie that I continue to forget we did and saw.
Ghostbusters?
The Beekeeper.
No. God, Diggins. You think I forget Beekeeper?
I lost my...
We talked about the Beekeeper yesterday, like the other day when we did the podcast.
I lost my virginity in that barn. That line rings eternal.
That's true. You did. That's where your son was conceived.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah, we Kung Fu Panda 4. Remember that?
Yeah. Those movies do super well in China, so I'm actually not shocked.
Yeah.
And like a kids movie, sometimes it doesn't matter if it's, as good as the other ones. It'll still do okay. So then Planet of the Apes, number 4. Number 5, this one I'm kind of surprised by, but also I guess people will go see it. But want to take a guess? Another one we did on the podcast, another kind of big movie of the year.
I'm not going to keep guessing Ghostbusters, but I just assume
there hasn't been a Marvel or DC movie this year so far.
No, well, there was one, but it's technically part of a different universe than the Marvel ones you would know and love.
Yes,
but she's going to come up eventually.
I wasn't counting that.
Mm-hmm.
We did it this year. Argyle?
No, it's actually Ghostbusters, CJ.
Really?
This is the Ghostbusters.
Right,
yeah.
Cool.
Overall, worldwide, $200 million, which I don't think was enough to make its money back. Like, I think it cost over $100 million to make. So now we're getting into the flop era of these. Because right now, I think everything I named up until now, maybe Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, it made $300 million. I want to say it probably didn't cost more than $150 to make. So that probably made a profit.
Okay. It's also still in theaters, so it's not done.
Is it?
That's true.
Oh, Kingdom Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking Godzilla Kong. Right.
No.
Yeah. But I mean, Godzilla Kong was like crushing. I think Godzilla Kong is the highest grossing Godzilla movie, or maybe it was the highest opening for a Godzilla movie or something crazy like that.
The budget for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was $160 million. So
okay, well, they got to do a
even
little
with
bit of work, but
marketing,
they'll probably get
probably
there.
has broken even.
Yeah. Numbers. So then I'm going to give you a bunch of the numbers, 7, 8, 9, all that. 7, Beekeeper, 152 million. Pretty good.
Right.
That's pretty good for a movie that costs $5 million, probably.
Yeah. 8, Fall Guy, 146 million. That's
Also,
pretty bad.
well,
for a movie that cost $140 million or something like that, pretty bad. Beekeeper, Fall Guy, Civil War, 113 million.
that feels like
That's
it's
really
probably
bad for that
because that movie probably cost
Well,
something to make.
I wonder about that though. I don't know. I think that budget is probably
I
upwards of
think it
50
was
million.
like the biggest budget movie A24's ever made.
But that's not saying much.
50 million.
Okay.
So yeah, they made money on it. Okay. Beekeeper, Fall Guy, Civil War, If 106 million. That's not good. We know it costs more than 100 million to make. Mean Girls 104. Also, I think probably not as much as they expected, but probably okay. Especially since that was originally supposed to be a streaming movie that then got bumped to movie theaters. Then Madam Web with a cool 100 mil, which
Nice.
not enough. I think
it's bad.
Yeah,
But still.
We found out it costs like 120 million or something like that to make. It's got an insane budget. Let me just double check this because I'm pretty sure, somewhere in the 100 million range.
I mean, considering in a just world, it would deserve to make $0. The fact that it made 100 million is incredible.
And then you got Garfield, a movie that was only released overseas called Exuma.
Small sample, right?
Yeah. And then Argyle, Challengers, what else? Furiosa, Night Swim, First Omen, whatever. Number 6 on this list. I didn't say this one. I left it out.
Okay.
Made $179 million, which means it made more money than Beekeeper. It made more money than Fall Guy, Civil War, If, Mean Girls, Madam Web, Garfield movie.
Even nice.
We haven't talked about it on the pod. It has not come up, but it was a movie that got released this year, and I did hear about it. And you want to take a guess which one I've left off this list?
I can't even. If we didn't do it, it didn't exist.
I think I might know.
What is
Not
it?
because I've heard this, but because of an educated guess based on the fact that it's still in theaters near me.
Oh, really?
Abigail?
No. Abigail, I think, is somewhere around 40 million. Yeah, 25.
That's pretty
Right
good
around
for
the
a movie
Demon
that
Slayer
size.
movie.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I wrecked that.
And right around Imaginary. So there's a really tight pocket here of Night Swim, First Omen, Back to Black. So Amy Winehouse docket, whatever. Demon Slayer, Abigail, Imaginary, Tarot. Like all those are right next to each other. The Blumhouse formula does not fail. Like it just
It makes you make
perfect.
movies for cheap, you get your money
Yeah.
back.
Sometimes it's Mithrigan and it makes 100 million, but usually 40 million, and that's more than enough. Which is great.
Yeah, it's
But
almost like not having budgets that don't balloon out of control helps you maintain profitable business.
That's true. Soon it'll just be those. It'll just be like a bunch of crazy flops, like, your Fall Guys and whatever, and then like 30 Blumhouse movies.
It'll be 30 Blumhouse movies, and we'll get one Barbenheimer. There'll be one like, no, we can do it. We can crack the billion.
Atlas 2, probably, if they decided to put it in theaters.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Atlas.
Atlas 1 would have if it was in theaters.
Yeah.
Atlas Shrugged. Put that back. Then
Megalopolis.
Ooh.
Ooh. Speaking of Atlas Shrugged. But anyway, number 6, still haven't said it, but because it's on Abigail. It's not a movie. It's not a movie we would ever cover on the pod. Because I did think about Abigail when it hit VOD. Like that might be fun. I hear it's not. I hear it's fun, but I don't think it would be quite worth it. Not like Atlas. It's worth everyone's time. But any last minute guesses? We can give up.
Yeah,
It's Bob Marley, One Love.
Oh,
$179 million.
Shocker.
Yeah. Made more money than Fall Guy, Civil War, If, Madam Web, Garfield.
And
although Garfield
we
is still
would
playing,
never
but
cover it unless it's what Diggins chooses to do for his movie.
There's got to be a reason that they keep making bad musical biopics, right? And that they make money seems like a good one.
Yeah.
Yep. And I haven't heard a thing about this one. I don't even know if it is bad. I'm going to assume it is because that's how they usually go. But
generally, I assume if a movie like that comes out and I don't hear anything about it, that means it's not that good.
yeah, it's rocking a strong 45 right now on Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, that's never stopped them before. But yeah, why are the movies bad? Or why are the movies not making any money, Diggins and DJ? What do you think? Let's solve this problem. Ted Sarandos, Michael or Bob Iger, whatever Bob is still in charge of Disney. Listen up because we have the solutions.
We're going to fix the movies.
Yeah. Diggins, what do you think?
I do think the whole streaming service, everyone having their own streaming service now and putting movies on VOD 2 weeks later, I don't think that helps. I think that is hurting box office draw because of weirdos and freaks like you guys who don't want to go to movie theaters. You know that if you just wait, they'll come. Instead of in the previous standard, which was if you want to not see it in a theater, you got to wait a few months. And who wants to do that?
And sometimes our waiting will influence the coming of it, so it'll come faster. If we just like hold on, everybody, 2 weeks, it'll be in the movie, it'll be in your house, you know.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel
I'm
like
saying like when the way it worked previously, like that wouldn't
right.
do anything, and you would just see it in the theater.
Well,
Now
I guess well,
it feels like that is a realistic possibility.
I guess what I mean is there was a time maybe a year ago when you would kind of expect it, but now I think it's gone to like, if we don't go, we'll force it to come to us. Like, it feels like something that now is a consumer choice as opposed to like part of the market that we can't control. I don't know if that's because of Fall Guys, but Fall Guys really put a fine point on it.
Can I be an old person and blame the children and TikTok?
Yeah, blame TikTok. I think there's something
right?
there.
Because it's like, it's you could just get like, not like, you just get just as good, I'm putting in big air quotes, content on your phone on TikTok for free. And it's like, but Diggins, you're shaking your head. That's what the kids want. The kids don't want your highfalutin, oh my God, Furiosa, it's so good, da-da-da. It's like, no, I just want to watch a TikTok of someone going around Times Square asking someone simple questions that they get wrong. That's what the children have voted. That's what they want.
Those are just like, they serve two different needs though. It's like people aren't replacing movies with TikTok. They are watching TikTok because they enjoy that, and it serves a different purpose in like your entertainment diet than like a long narrative feature does.
See, I disagree. Not well, okay, I agree with what you said, but I think the difference is
But I disagree with you anyway.
I disagree with the overall point, because I think how DJs works and yours is true is like yes, there's like a different appetite for it, but I think because of TikTok and shorter narrative content, but like not just like fail videos, like a 2-minute long sketch, does seem like kids have been trained to kind of enjoy that more as entertainment and just don't like movies as much. And I'm not just saying it, like this is something that apparently a lot of people are observing. Just kids don't, like very young kids don't have any interest in movies because they just don't, that's not how they consume media. And I think that's fascinating.
I mean, anecdotally, like my little niece and nephew love movies. They watch them all the time. Like it's not like the idea of telling a story over an extended period of time is ever going to like be a thing that people are just culturally not interested in, considering it's the thing that's existed for pretty much the entirety of human civilization. Obviously movies haven't, but the idea of long form stories. So like, I don't think that's ever going away in like as like a thing that people will want to see. Whether it's viable as like a huge business, I think is a fairer question. But like, I think the whole idea that like people just don't want to see movies is silly. People want to see movies. It's just a question of how and when.
Well, I think it's just that kids brought up on TikTok and stuff like that don't have an attention span trained for movies, or like that muscle isn't like strengthened as they grow up, so that by the time they get to be the adult who decides if they want to go to movies or not, they're just like, I don't want to do that.
Or they have to be on their phone during the whole movie, making the experience
or they have to be on their
everyone.
phone. And Netflix makes you do that. Like Netflix makes people that are pitching movies make them second screen kind of content so that they can do both. Like it's insane.
Yes, that's why Netflix movies are bad. To spoil our opinion about
no. But yeah, I think Netflix is the problem. I think you're right about the streaming thing, Diggins, but I also think just like Netflix, I do think Netflix fundamentally broke how people think about movies and what people expect from a movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I also think there's something else weird happening this year where it's just like the old tricks aren't working.
Mm-hmm.
Like celebrities going and being silly on TV, and like Ryan Gosling going on Saturday Night Live doesn't sell a movie anymore. Like, and I don't know what that is.
A lack of caring of celebrity influence. I think there's something there. Like I don't think we idolize celebrities like we once did. I think we kind of hate them a little bit now, which I don't know. I'm kind of on board with. I'm pro thinking celebrities suck.
But Well, but you said
So-
Jared Leto was pretty cool though. Before we started, you liked him.
I did say that.
And-
You want to join his sexy cult or whatever. So,
But DJ did also say that he hates Sydney Sweeney because she is blonde and has big boobs.
yeah, like that old
I
lady.
like being consistent.
What was that all
I like
about?
being consistent, all right?
There's plenty of reasons to hate her. Her Hot Ones interview was boring. That's a good reason, you know?
I've never seen her give a performance I thought was particularly good.
Yeah, I don't want Euphoria. But I like that version of Euphoria where Brian Cox did that one scene instead of her better. You know what I'm talking about? It's pretty funny. They took there's a pretty well-known scene of her breaking down in a bathroom because she's dressed like Little Bo Peep or something, and all the girls are like, "You're dressed like Little Bo Peep," and she's like, "No, I'm not," and whatever. That's from Euphoria. Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel or something took her out of that scene and just had Brian Cox in the same outfit do all her lines. It's pretty good. Like, as much as I think Sydney Sweeney's probably good on Euphoria, I've never seen it. I do think Brian Cox might be better. And I think this is where he got his, like, I also should have been in Napoleon idea from. Just like, Jimmy Kimmel, can you put me in these other movies? Because they all suck too. I'd be better in them.
That's
Fuck Michael Caine.
fascinating.
That's his classic
Well,
thing.
yeah. You know,
You don't like him.
Careful who you disrespect on this podcast, all right?
Yeah.
You never know.
But I was gonna say the other thing I think is interesting that people pointed out is just like advertising is different. Like it's somewhat anecdotal, although I do think you can look at the actual like trends of the technology, but people are just saying they don't hear about movies as much anymore because there's not TV shows that people watch consistently, and you get consistent television ads for Furiosa.
Yeah.
So you go to work and you find out, oh yeah, that's right, that was out this week. Or you find out that it bombed, and that's like, oh right, they made a Furiosa movie. Guess it's not that good, but like it's like a weird, you know, Ouroboros kind of, or I guess vicious circle.
I'm kind of willing to buy that one. That's my favorite I've heard so far.
I think there's something to it, and I think it tailored ads too, right? Like because if you watch TikTok, because you still get ads, like your YouTube will play you an ad for Furiosa, but only if it thinks you already want to watch Furiosa,
right?
And that's just not how, you know, it used to work. That's why football is so important now. People think the advertising may shift, so that football season becomes must-see TV, like must-see movie season, and then the summer is kind of the dead zone.
That makes sense.
And I think it'd be fascinating
because everyone watches football.
Yeah, it's one of the only things
the
that
only
we
way to
all
reach
watch.
people, which is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what we can take away from all this then is that algorithms are bad and will ruin society.
How dare you?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe until they're good. I also one more theory. This is one that I haven't seen anybody talk about, but I think is potentially something. I do think work from home kind of changed movies. It's like movies used to be water cooler discussions, and like the idea of talking to people about a movie used to be something that like drove how you consumed a movie, and now that's just not a thing anymore. Like you would say, what are you doing this weekend? And then someone would say, oh, I'm going to Furiosa, and say, oh yeah, right, they made that. And then you go see it. And then the next week you talk about it, and then someone else would go see it. But now like there's no communal like area like that. There's certain ones, but like in the workplace, I wouldn't be surprised if that has something to do with it.
I don't hate that one. That feels like a half-baked take, but I like it.
Well, and I guess the other part of it is work from home. Like you go see a movie on Friday after work, maybe. I'd like that's when the movie opens. Like, oh, let's go to the bar and then get a drink and then go see Furiosa. If you're already home, you have to decide to leave your house to go see Furiosa.
Right.
Like, it's a much bigger ask. So yeah, I think, you know, and then nobody wants to go to work and all that stuff, blah blah blah. But like, I think the work from home stuff in a weird half way is affecting it in a weird way, and it's great. I love work from home. It's cool. Everyone should do it.
You've been working from home a lot longer than most people.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's the best way to do it. I've worked from home and worked from not home, and home is where all my food lives. It's where the cats live. It's where my bathroom lives. That one's really important. But yeah,
I don't know. I will say when I transitioned to working from home versus working in an office, I realized the sheer volume of toilet paper I use.
Oh
yeah. It's big. It's big.
That's true. Yeah, there's some downsides, like the decline of movie theaters and the toilet paper thing. But overall, for society. I think it's pretty cool. Speaking of sitting down and doing most of your work and not really having to get up and go to work for it, let's talk about a movie that came out this week.
Hell yeah.
Atlas, the only movie that anyone's talking about. Atlas, everyone loves
The
it.
cats everywhere just meowing in agreement that they saw Atlas.
The number one huge release. That is the only thing anyone wants us to talk about this week.
That's right. And, we have to because the people have demanded it. No Garfield, no Furiosa, no Garfiosa or whatever.
Yep.
Just this.
If you check the Discord, it's nothing but people posting over and over and over again.
Atlas.
We want Atlas.
Yeah.
We want Atlas.
We want Atlas. Meow, 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 meow. But yeah, we got to talk about Atlas. DJ, you are the IMDb's man, so let's do this one. I'm really curious about it.
All right. I'm excited. Okay, so every week we play the IMDb B as in spelling bee, where two of the esteemed guest host guests on the show.
No, we're the guest hosts.
Guest hosts, yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be here next episode.
Whoever's not in charge of IMDb has to be asked to come on that week. That's it's like how the Queen has to invite the Prime Minister to be Prime Minister, even though like he should be it anyway. It's technically part of how the mostly nitpicking works.
Accurate. Well, I stand by what I said, even if it's wrong. So
that's this podcast's motto.
That is how the Queen used to do things, and the King now, and all those royals. So nothing stopping.
There's a game where the two guest hosts have to guess the IMDb summary. And I know all you listening at home are like, wait, how does this IMDb summary be conjured? It's actually very interesting. What the folks at IMDb do is they get a bunch of ravens together and they have them watch movies, and then there's someone next to the raven, and then they recite what they think the summary is, and then the raven kind of takes that, and then they release the person back to the wild, but they keep the raven. So IMDb has a pretty big churn. So when they're like, wait, what do we do for the summary? They just grab the raven, and then the raven says, the summary for Fall Guy is and then they write that down. So great. And then they I think they may release the raven, or they might keep him. I don't know how the raven caretaker sequence goes, but I'm sure it's very humane and not at all frightening.
They don't like burn the ravens or something like that after they're done. But is that why that movie The Raven, the summary is just like me?
Right,
me.
Exactly.
It's because like the ravens thought they were talking about ravens, but they didn't know it's the movie with what's his name being Edgar Allan Poe or something, solving crimes. Remember that?
Kinda.
It was like, what if Edgar Allan Poe had to work with detectives to solve crimes based on Edgar Allan Poe's own books? So if someone's doing Telltale Heart to guys, and like, and Edgar Allan Poe is played by John Cusack, I think, and it looked silly. I've never seen it, but it looked quite silly.
That seems silly.
Would have probably made $40 million and been right in the middle this year. Well, that's the other thing. Someone pointed out this, like, if the Marvels came out this year and did the numbers it was doing, it'd be like the third or fourth highest grossing movie of the year.
Nuts.
It's crazy how much things have changed. I mean, Ant-Man would be the highest grossing movie of this year if it came out this year. And that almost hit $1 billion.
I mean, Ant-Man, good point. To be fair, like, we're not in like peak movie season of the year yet.
Yeah. And to be fair, we didn't know Ant-Man was bad when we saw it. You have to have seen Ant-Man to know it was bad.
I had my suspicions. That's
fair, yeah. But interesting. So the Ravens all get euthanized, you're saying?
I think it's humane. So this is similar for Atlas, which was spat out by a raven. What I would say about this raven is I think this raven was short on time, because it's a very short summary and it's pretty high level. So I think that raven might have had a party to go to. So it's like it spat out the summary and then bounced.
Hell yeah, fucking raving about town, just going and doing shots and fucking ravens. It's like, God, I got no time, baby.
So
the night waits for no one.
It wasn't worried about COVID-19.
I don't think so. At least this raven was a very pro-business raven, so it felt like it was more important to go to the bars to support small businesses than worry about possible things that could happen to it.
So the raven was going around like, people are blowing this COVID-19 out of proportion. It's just like the bird flu.
But it did bring out pots and pans and bang them for all the workers that were giving it drinks because as thank you.
Those are the real heroes, the bartenders,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Listen, there's worse heroes than the bartenders.
That's true.
Yeah, bartenders didn't do a bunch of plant evidence on people and stuff that I know of. But yeah.
So who's going first for this?
So I'm going second because I get to choose, and I want Diggins to go first.
Right. So you said it's very short.
We've been going too hard on very. It's short. It's definitely short.
Short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't say like a forward summary. All right. But it's short indeed.
A woman must learn to trust her AI partner in order to save the world.
All
Oh,
right.
I like it.
Nando.
I'm gonna say an analyst needs to work with an. I want to say like AI mech. Well, I see the way I want to do this, and it's tricky. Is an analyst needs to work with her. No, I will say AI. An analyst needs to work with an AI to stop a terrorist who threatens to destroy the world.
Neither of you did great. I do have someone, but it's not good at best.
Do you have a tiebreaker? That's
I
fine?
have a great tiebreaker for this movie that neither of you would ever get.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah. I
Also,
believe it.
I'm not the one
I was gonna
hosting.
say the trivia is light. Now, there's a couple things here. I do have one in mind.
Oh my god!
I didn't
the trivia.
Yeah, right.
I can't even imagine.
Hey guys, did you know that the director says Titanfall was an inspiration for the film?
What?
He shouldn't say that, otherwise they might get in trouble. Considering the film, just keep that one to himself.
48 people on IMDb found this helpful.
They did. None of them watched the movie. They're like, oh,
well,
I bet there's lots of subtle nods.
Well, and they found it was helpful. They were like, oh yeah, I like Titanfall, and they loaded it up on their computer and played it.
Well, Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2, yeah, the good one.
Did you guys know that Atlas had an inherent distrust of AI, much like Spooner had for iRobots for robots in the movie iRobot?
I did know that.
Wow.
I didn't put that thought together, but sure.
Two people found that helpful. Okay, so I have two options.
Yeah.
One, I think people have been waiting for you two to play the name game, and I think
the name game's gonna suck this week, though.
I know. I was gonna say there's barely
There's
enough.
a couple people.
Yeah, I don't. If you guys are out on the name game, we won't do the name game because I'm a caring person.
I throw myself upon the tender mercies of the host.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I just wish this was a movie with more than 3 actors people would recognize, or more than 4 actors people would recognize.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I think there's 4.
I don't.
Yeah,
love,
exactly.
No, I don't
4.
love the name game. No, I don't love it. Okay, so here's what I had prepped. So you both did, like I said, pretty bad with the summary. Now the summary opens in an interesting way. So I'm harkening us back to when we had to guess parts of the summary that I think are kind of interesting, and there is something interesting here. So we're gonna go broad, and then I'll help get you guys there if that's required, if that's needed. But there's an opening clause to the summary, and it's a 5-word opening, and it's kind of describing where we are. So you don't have to get it exact, but you guys want to take a stab at how they might be kind of describing the world we're in, so that someone reading this be like, oh, this is where we are. I don't know. Is this it? Are we
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Yeah, let's see.
Let's take some shots, and then I'll try and rein you guys in, and we'll just keep it very fair. And then Nando, you can decide if you want to go first or second.
I'm gonna go second because I've got to think about this I've got to figure out the 5 words.
Don't get hung up on the 5 words. It is 5 words, but if you get in the ballpark, I'll give it to you.
Then we got to think about the 5 words because it's 5 words.
It is 5
Yeah.
words. All right. It's like a place setting.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm very close. I'm just trying to get rid of 1 word.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll go first then.
Okay.
In an AI technological utopia.
Okay.
Okay. I'm in a similar boat, but I have different words. In a techno future Earth.
Okay. Well, I'm like taking notes. I'm like, okay, because I'm like I want to like score you guys to go along. Very proud of you both. The NA is spot on. So great job on those first two words. I won't say which one of you, but one of you is kind of like leaning closer into like one of you was closer than the other, but I don't want to say who. But like, keep going.
What did you say, Nando?
Techno future Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Diggins, go again. We're just gonna keep going. I like this. I think this is playing real well.
In a advanced future Earth.
Okay. Nando?
In a I don't even know, like in a AI, like post AI Earth, maybe.
Okay. So so the future part is right. So because you guys kind of both hit on future at certain points. So I'm gonna tell you it's in a blank future. So it's talking about the future, and it's in this kind of broad scope, like in a blank future. Da 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 da.
None of us have said the exact other two words.
Correct. We are in a blank future, and nothing's hit so far, besides like those three words.
Right. Okay.
All right, so Diggins, you go again.
All right. In a robot-powered future.
Okay.
I hate how this one sounds, but I think it gets it like a thing. In a post-war future.
Ooh, I do like that. So
I do like how every single one of Nando's has been a hyphen that one could argue is only 4 words.
Like, yeah, I'm giving it 5 though. Like, I think that would be 5.
Can I? All right, we're gonna go behind the curtain now.
Okay.
In the summary, it actually is a hyphenated word, but I don't think it should be hyphenated. I think that's incorrect. Because I don't, and it's not a hyphenated word like post-war. I'm like, I see this as 5 words, and they put that hyphen in there, and maybe I'll be corrected, but like, I don't know. I'm not sure on it. It doesn't seem right. All right, so okay. Let me give like another hint. So it's not it. I'm gonna say this. It's like nothing to do with AI and robots. It's like it's just this kind of like broad. I don't want to give like another hint without being too specific. So let's just go with it's not robot or AI focused for this future.
Okay.
This tiebreaker is going great. I'm so convinced that this is what he's just gonna say, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, vindicated. We shouldn't have done the name game.
In a I have one word. I need the second one.
I mean, at this point, if any of you guys get either word, the other one doesn't say it, it's like you win. Like we are.
Yeah, but I might as well throw a second one in.
I got it.
In a dark, dystopic future.
Okay, Nando.
In a what do you call that? What's the word I'm looking for? In a far in a not far future or something.
Okay.
How about that?
All right. So here's what I'll say. We are trying to paint a dark picture here. So Diggins, you are closer with kind of how, like, you phrased it. Like, we're trying to paint this picture of it's not good. Things are not good, and they look a certain way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not good. So Diggins, go again.
In a desolate, devastated future.
Nando.
In a near apocalyptic future.
Okay. I think I'm gonna give a word because I think this one word like might not be gotten. Do you guys want to take one more crack before? I was gonna give the second part of the hyphenated word. You guys want to give one more crack? It's like out there.
I mean, I don't got anything.
Yeah, I don't
All
think
right.
I'm gonna get it. So go for it. Like, tell me.
This is it's a blank sounding future. In a blank sounding future. Do you guys have anything, or else we're gonna have to move to some other thing? Because
I mean,
awful sounding future.
In a nightmare sounding future. I guess I know that doesn't make any sense, but I think that's what the Ravens did.
You guys are like close. I kind of want you to keep going. Throw some out there.
In a horrific sounding future.
Nando.
In a bad sounding future.
That was my first thought.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try one more thing.
I mean, we could just do the name game at this point. I don't think
Can we try?
Well, let's hear the one thing.
Okay, yeah.
You guys were so off. I almost want you to take another crack at the entire summary. And now you have in a blank sounding future. But I want you to just take like another swing, like no notes, except you were both way off. And I want to see if you could like, because it's pretty short. It's
just the world or the whole summary?
The whole summary.
Okay.
Like, I would give you both 0 points on your summaries, and you both get the first 5-word clause, and then just carry yourself forward from there.
Okay.
So you will take another crack. Diggins.
Am I still first?
Yes.
Oh, I've got an idea.
Okay. In an evil sounding future, a woman must stop her AI brother from destroying humanity.
All right. Nando?
In a familiar sounding future, an analyst named Atlas and a robot team up to stop an AI terrorist.
Okay. I do have a winner because one of you got much closer on that one. So we spent enough time on this, so I can go to the name game. Diggins, you have one. You have one.
Wow.
And you were also my winner earlier, so I feel less bad about it. Okay, so I'm going to read the whole summary, and
yes,
you guys are going to see your critical error that you made and it's not the word at the beginning, but it's just funny. In a bleak sounding future, an AI soldier has determined that the only way to end war is to end humanity. So the main character...
So it's from the perspective of Harlan.
Yes.
I mean...
Harlan is our main character.
Yeah.
So, Nando,
Also, I agree that this future sounds bleak. I don't think the movie thinks that.
Yeah.
Nando, I gave you no points because you talked about teaming up with the robot, which is nothing here. And Diggins, you at least mentioned that ending humanity was a part of it. So,
And the word humanity. It's true.
And you didn't mention the robot. Which was critical because the robot is not part of this summary. So yes, Harlan is our lens here. Nando, when you said
they should have called the movie Harlan.
Yeah.
Maybe that was taken by some other movie.
Nando, when you said, "Oh, I got it," I thought you were going to make that pivot to make it from the focus of Harlan, not Atlas.
No. If honestly, he would have been after Mark Strong's guy. I would have said a man has to get his AI phobic friend to work with AI to stop a robot terrorist or whatever I kept saying.
Okay, so we got it. That was good. Great tiebreaker.
All right.
Great judging by me. DJ, you killed it. And Diggins, you killed it. So the reward is that Diggins, you get to tell us what you thought of this movie.
I was looking this up earlier. Did you guys know that Terminator and Terminator 2 came out over 30 years ago?
Oh, wow. That's fun.
I'm not surprised, but yeah, that sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
91, yeah.
And yet, movies will not stop coasting on that movie for the idea that we'll just accept, what if AI was evil?
If
Like-
AI was evil, though.
I'll admit, the Terminator movies don't have a ton of justification for why Skynet went evil.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with that because those movies are good, and it was maybe not a new concept. Certainly in sci-fi had covered it for many years at that point. But, you know, it was a new kind of movie. And so, like, I can forgive that. I don't think you can make an AI movie where it's like, ooh, what if the AI was spooky and wanted to kill people? And, like,
Ooh.
that's the whole thing.
But what
You
about
know,
the creator or whatever that movie was that came out earlier
Oh.
this year or last year?
Well,
whenever it
that's
came
another
out.
type of movie that I feel like you can't just do anymore, which is what if robots was people?
Slightly different in the form.
Yeah. No. I'm more sympathetic to that one because at least that is a step beyond the Terminator one where we're like, what if the AI was good? Or like, what if people trying to destroy the AI were the people who were wrong?
Yeah, what if AI was Vietnam? You know? That's what I've heard the creator is. I've never seen it.
And like, so I'm more likely to give that more credence just because at least it's the next step after Terminator and not going all the way back to Terminator. But yeah, no, I mean, this movie is nothing. I can't even get like worked up about it because it's just boring and not very interesting. It's mostly J-Lo talking to herself for extended periods of time. Plot doesn't make any sense. Any kind of thing it's trying to say about AI or humanity is stupid. And like shallow, and like the first thing someone would like, if someone put a gun to your head and say in the next 3 seconds come up with a plot about AI, like this is what you would say. It's just not interesting at all. The action is bad for what little of it there is. So like even that basic like level of like a thing to throw on and turn your brain off and watch robots punch and explode, it's not even good at that. So yeah, I don't like it. It's a bad movie.
Wow.
What about you, Nando?
I think I think this movie, I know I said this already this year, but I think this movie's missing one thing, and it's Johnny Drama. Like, this is a fake movie and honestly, I don't even know where you put Johnny Drama, but I know Vinny Chase would be the terrorist for sure. Like, it's a movie that
Johnny Drama would be the Colonel, right?
Like, I don't know if he's got that kind of charisma. I think he'd maybe be one of the guys.
He'd be one of the Marines who's
when
like,
should we even listen to you? Yeah.
This lady doesn't know what she's talking about.
He'd have a big gun on his shoulder or something, then he'd explode. Or he could be the other guy. He could be the guy who keeps showing up with his silly coat and the giant sleeves, who like, It could be him, I guess, but I don't think he can pull that off either. This movie, it's like, you could show me any scene out of context and then put it in a movie, and then I would just expect that all the actors are about to go cut, and then the actual movie's going to start, and they're going to walk off set, much like the Fall Guys. Like, it's like the movie they were making, The Fall Guy. It's so weird, but it's fascinating because nothing's wrong with it. It's not good, but it's not, I wouldn't say any parts of it are like terrible. It's not like a Madam Web or anything where like certain things are so bad that it makes it bad. It's just like, it's everything working together somehow makes it worse because it's so nothing. And like, it's really weird, and the plot is stupid, and the robots look fine, I guess, but they look mostly like very comfortable seats that I'm sure the actors were very happy they got to sit in.
We got a retribution on our hands, people.
We really do, yeah. And yeah, he could have been in it. Liam Neeson could have been Mark Strong's character, but he didn't even get in one of the mechs. So what's the point? But yeah, it was like, man, this movie's, it's so weird. I'm glad we did it because it's really strange. And yeah, in the year of Rebel Moon and this, I think Netflix is really off to a start. Like, I don't know what else they got in the hopper, but this might be like the weirdest year for movies. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but specifically because Netflix is making these Entourage movies in real life. I did see someone post a picture of the poster for this movie next to the picture of all the Lucas Lee posters from Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, it does feel like that too. But yeah, I feel like I more expect to see Vinny Chase in. You know what? Honestly, this is my thought about the movie. At the very end of the movie, the character, without spoiling everything, is saying a bunch of things she likes, and she lands back on, but really, I just like a good cup of coffee. And I wouldn't be surprised if she pulls out a piece of Folgers ad and goes, like, this Folgers coffee, and then it's just a commercial. You know, like, I would be like, this is genius. An 1.5 hour long commercial for coffee. Like Cerveza Cristal, but like, just, that's the whole thing.
Like when you get one of those YouTube ads that's like an hour long, you're like,
yeah,
why would they think this is a good idea?
And like, honestly,
entire movie,
it would be like a really cool postmodern whatever. Like I'd be really into it. But yeah, that like any scene like could have been that. Any scene could be at any point in the movie. Jennifer Lopez could have turned to camera and gone, "Hey, turn your cell phone off. We're in a movie." And I'd be like, "Oh, this is what that is. It's that thing that plays before the movie." And you're like, "This isn't a real movie. This is just something they made up to do the cell phone bit." I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
DJ, what'd you think?
Maybe the point of the movie when the ring noise goes off.
Oh my god! I had to check my phone. Like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck's at my door.
Disney, they're coming to get you for all those mean things you said about Moana or whatever.
There we go.
I should have done that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
say some mean things about Atlas.
So Ted Sarandos can kill you.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, I'd like to talk to him. Tell him to buy Quibi and get his act together.
Yeah.
Let's get this content out. Oh my gosh, what did I think of Atlas, guys? I kinda really didn't like this movie. I tried.
I didn't buy it for a second.
I tried so hard because much like Diggins' love for Monkey Smash Lizard, I have love for mech fight anything. It doesn't have to be mech fight mech. Mech fight alien, mech fight robot, mech fight person. I was so ready. I'm like,
those are the three kinds of story. Like it's like man versus nature, mech fight robot, man fight person.
Yeah, Joseph Campbell wrote about that in The Hero's Journey.
Yeah.
So I came in with like no, I can do it. The problem is there's not enough mech punching, and there's way too much inside cockpit of mech and trying to figure out like my therapy. It's like therapy with mech. That's how you make me hate a mech movie, is let's have the mech be your therapist. It's terrible. It's not a way that this should go down. I will say this because it's not really a compliment sandwich because you guys were like, this is bad. So it's the compliment open avocado toast. We're gonna do some compliment avocado toast. Where
it's a compliment open face sandwich.
Yeah,
it's a compliment, just a bunch of loose meat or something. That's what me and Diggins did. Compliment rolling up the little bologna and eating it as it's like a little cigarette.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to.
Who among us?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take some puffs. Ooh, I feel like a man. Gonna put some bread at the bottom. I will say this, and it's not really a spoiler, but I don't know if you care. Then just plug them ears for next minute. That last fight scene where Simu Liu pulls the fucking sword out of his arm, and then it becomes the chain sword. Masterpiece. Like, that fight scene is good. I will not have it, Diggins, that there were no good fight scenes. That was a good fight scene. And the little scene at the end when they do the little upgrades, and then Smith comes out with like fucking 4 arms and a pipe and a sword. I'm like, no, it's perfect. So,
and you only had to suffer through an hour and a half of movie to get there.
Yeah, like,
if only there was a movie where Simu Liu got a big golden whip of shit and started flinging it at guys.
There's no other outlet for that.
Yeah.
So that I watched this and my eyes went, love that. Now this movie would be improved if it was an anime. That like feels like this movie was supposed to be an anime at some point. Probably is an anime that I haven't heard of, called Mech AI or Mech Fight AI.
It was supposed to be animated video game models in the Titanfall 2 cutscene.
Yeah.
but like
No, it's a ride. This is a
Yeah.
ride where like you sit. But it's not like an amusement park ride. It's one of those big rides that's like the size of a van that lives in a mall. And then you get in and it's like, hey, Ranger, time to go in the middle, and then shakes around a little bit.
belongs to like I mean I don't think they do these anymore, but the arcades that are attached to movie theaters have
Yeah.
one of those.
Mine still has one.
Okay.
It's not very big, but it exists.
Well, this is a ride in that.
Yeah.
But so I really did enjoy those, and the rest of this movie is absolute garbage. Now, the nice thing about Netflix, Ted Sarandos, is that you could go just wrestle the remote control from your cat, or find it in the couch cushion that made it landed in the couch, and then hit the series of buttons when you were shifting on the couch that turned on Atlas. Wrestle out the remote. Fast forward to like 30 minutes left, no context, and watch those fight scenes. Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Even just the fast forwarding though, you'll have to watch a scene or like a couple of frames of Atlas, and you'll probably fall asleep.
That's true.
Yeah, just
Also, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, Nando. Go ahead, please.
I just want to throw this out here because I feel like we might say it accidentally. Jennifer Lopez's name is Atlas, not the mech.
Yeah.
You would assume the mech is named Atlas, but
Yeah.
the mech is named Smith. Her name is Atlas.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not even her last name. It's her
Nope.
first name.
Yeah.
It's her first name. Well, her last name is Shepard because the movie is bad. That's the rules in a bad movie. You gotta give your main character the name Shepard.
That's true.
Yeah, or like Adam.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who else was a humble shepherd?
Oh, who? Did he also have to? God, what did he have to do?
I mean, Moses,
For-
I guess, because actually
Yeah.
Jesus was a carpenter.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I thought you
true.
were going for the Mass Effect protagonist. He was a humble.
Yeah.
No,
Also,
I was trying
was
to
Moses
give
a shepherd?
Pastor.
Did Moses have a job?
I feel like he was a shepherd after he left Egypt, but before he became a prophet.
Because wasn't he? Well, he was a prophet when he was in Egypt, right?
Well, when he went back to Egypt.
He went back
raised
to
in-
Egypt.
He was raised in Egypt, left when he found out that he wasn't like actually son of the Pharaoh. Spent some time out in like the desert. I think he was a shepherd. Saw the flaming bush, told him to go save the Jewish people from Egypt. So then he went back, and then he did all that stuff.
Oh, okay. It's good that he had some skills and stuff,
It's like when you like study abroad. You
Yeah.
can kinda-
Yeah,
Came back with an accent, yeah.
You got to have something to fall back on. You can't trust that the profit market's always going to be running hot.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So where was I? Fast forward and then you'll be good. Right, Nanny, you were saying that lady's name is indeed Atlas. And the robot is Smith. So you may have been confused when I was like, Smith comes out with 4 arms. You're like, Jennifer Lopez came out with 4 arms? That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, in fact.
No.
But this wraps up my compliment open face sandwich or pile of meat, whatever I'll have you. It's a bad movie with about 12 minutes of pretty good fight scenes that should have just been an anime. And Jennifer Lopez just like shaking around in a cockpit. I was getting Money Plane vibes at some point in the middle. I'm like, oh, we're doing Money Plane.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like you're just sitting the whole movie.
Man,
would've been
I
great.
wish Kelsey Grammer was in this movie.
Yeah. I wish fucking Harland had billions in crypto or something on this planet.
That's how he was gonna bankrupt everything.
Yeah.
Well, Nando,
Bombs ain't cheap.
you have the horrible task of having to summarize this movie. Although I don't think it's
I
that
know.
horrible of a task. I think it's pretty.
It's pretty horrible.
Okay.
I have to think about it again. So it's as bad as that as like, it's like getting getting a big piece of metal stapled to your leg or something. It's the worst pain a human
and the
can go
robot
through.
forgot to give the painkiller.
Yeah.
Or being
Yeah.
or being stabbed in the eye with a needle and your eye being totally fine after.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like,
You could, in theory, slip something
Yeah.
through the little gap and get whatever, and then pull it out without actually damaging the eyeball.
But
It doesn't seem like he was trying to
I
do
was
that.
going to say I don't think that's
No,
what seemingly
yeah.
he was doing. He's stabbing you right in the eyeball.
So yeah, I get to do the IMDb or the summary of the movie. Okay, so the summary for this movie, I can do it
I believe
because I
in
watched
you.
a little bit of it just now, and I remember what some of the beginning is because I've forgotten. It's mostly footage of the stuff that'll happen later in the movie. It's the news going like there was a war with AI. One of them is Simu Liu. He was one of our ones, but now he's a terrorist leader, and he had a relationship with a certain child. But now he's bad. And he's hiding on another planet. The army's trying to get him, but they can't. But well, I don't know. They don't know where he is, but like they know he's somewhere. And he's very bad. He's got a little haircut like the future, and eyes are glowy eyes like the future. So as time passes, Jennifer Lopez becomes an adult, and she is like an analyst, like we keep saying. This comes up a lot in the movie, but she has to do an interrogation of a guy who is also part of Simu Liu's crew, who is a robot who they shoot in a raid and then cut off his head, and then he's like, I'll never tell you anything. And she hits him with a magnet and he dies. And then she uses some sort of clever technology and like kind of, I don't know, mind reading skills to figure out that actually she does not, like, they know where Simu Liu is. He's in, I don't know, Flebnar 8 or something, some other planet with a slightly different topography and whatever. It doesn't matter. But they can find him now and get Simu Liu, who they hate, named Harland. That name comes up a lot. That'll be good for name game in the future, because that name comes up plenty of times. Also, there's a couple details. Jennifer Lopez, kind of a loser, plays chess, drinks coffee, and it's the future, and it's like a dystopian future, but not really. But like the movie thinks it is, I guess. And they had a big war, but everybody seems mostly fine. Like.
That was 30 years ago at the point we're watching.
That's true. Yeah. And they got all kinds of great advertising in the background of stuff. So that's always helpful.
And the Hollywood sign is even bigger.
Yep. The Hollywood sign is buildings or something. Pretty cool. Hollywood, take notice. But then Mark Strong, who's in charge of the army or something, has to talk to Sterling K. Brown, who's in charge of the robots, the mech things. And he's like, I want to go get Harland. And he's like, okay. Good, because we'll find out where he is. Jennifer Lopez is going to do it with her wonderful technology and chess piece and her that she hates him so much. They figure out where the guy Harland is, and then they're like, let's go get Harland. And Jennifer Lopez is like, I need to go get Harland. I hate him so much. He's so interesting. We have a relationship from childhood. And then they're like, you can't go get Harland. And then Sterling K. Brown's like, I'd actually like her to come get Harland. I know she didn't like me before, but now she will because I think it's a good idea for her to come. She gives a really crazy speech to all the guys that work for Harland or for Sterling K. Brown, who's in charge of the robots. And Sterling K. Brown's like, we need to use our Neuralinks. We need to use our little Elon Musk Neuralinks to communicate with the robots and stuff. It's a little headset that you put on your ear, and it lets you mind meld with your robot buddy from Titanfall. And it's like, it's also just kind of how they do live their lives. They have these stupid things on all the time, but she hates them because she hates technology because Simu Liu was mean to her. We'll find out exactly why. Also, she's kind of a freak. Like, she's a weirdo, and she hates AI so much because AI is mostly nice. It's silly little robots. It's one silly little, like, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of AI outside of this big mech thing. Like, there's lots of like little Amazon bullshit, like the, Alexas. But like, there's not like robots roaming the halls of the backgrounds of scenes, which I found strange. So she weasels her way onto this mission because she knows Harland like nobody else. She's like a classic Harland guy. She knows all his tricks. And they're going to go to this planet to get Harland with the robots. She's not going to get a robot because she's just an analyst, but she's going to go and, I don't know, just like watch from the space station while they shoot him. I don't know. She leaves Earth. They have to go through Earth's little fence. We have a magic fence that protects you from Harlands and I guess asteroids or whatever. Aliens, I assume. I feel like it's a world where there's probably aliens. There's all kinds of life on other planets, so I don't see why not. And we learn through like flashbacks and memories that Jennifer Lopez's mom invented Harlands. She was the chief Harland engineer of robotics, and she came up with the stupid little headset. And that something about that didn't go super well, and Jennifer Lopez is very upset about it. So they get to Harlan's planet, and then he blows them all up like that scene from all those movies. I mean, it's like the scene from Edge of Tomorrow. They all fall out of the things, but it's a big robot fight in the sky. Pow, 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 pow. Other guys are catching her, and she gets in a robot. Sterling K. Brown tosses her in one. He's like, do all the stuff you hate to do with robots because that's how you have to make them go. And she's like, I'll never do it. And then she just lands and bumps her head. And this is one of those movies where all the stuff that happens from this point on is the character in a coma because she bumped her head after falling from space. None of it makes any sense. So
she have a really traumatic head injury.
Oh yeah, and they show us the bonk. It's a heavy bonk, and also these mech suits are not like mech suits like sometimes they are, where it's like it's kind of like it's like a harness or something. It's just like an open little area, and she's just bouncing around, like kind of trying to hold on to stuff, but whatever. Also, Harlan steals the big plane while they're doing this, or something. Something happens with the big plane full of bombs, so they were going to use to bomb Harlan, where it's like, all right, that's something. She watches all the guys die, very sad, and then she lands. And then she has to talk to the AI, which she hates so much. Its name is Smith. And it doesn't find this out eventually. She's just, first she tries to call everybody. It doesn't work. Then she's like, tries to do kind of analog AI stuff. But at certain points, it's just like, you got to use the AI. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And she argues with it like it is Rush Hour or something, any buddy cop movie. And she's like, you gotta stop speaking your crazy AI language and do what I say. And the AI is like, no, it is what would they say? Like illogical to go and do this. And she's like, screw illogical. I'm a human. I know stuff. And she puts on robot hands and runs like a Muppet. It's very funny. Inside the AI, and the AI is like, don't do that. It's going to waste all the time and the energy. And she's like, I don't care. I want to do my little robot stomps. And she does that for like a good 20 minutes. And then they encounter some goons. And one of the goons is that guy from earlier who was also in the Marvels, but he was dead. But we know he's a robot, and we know how robots work. So I don't know why this is a surprise to anyone, but whatever. I don't know. This is something that no one could have imagined. Also, the robot, Smith, her AI is like, do a Neuralink with me, and then we can share our memories, and then you'll be able to use this fucking thing instead of just having to like yell, shoot them, robot, which is basically what she's doing.
Override.
Yeah, manager, or what was it? Representative. Like, it's not working. She's trying to shoot him. She misses them all. The robot has a lot of sass. The robot's like, if you would ask me where the robot guns were, I would have told you. And it's like, oh my God, the robot sucks. She sucks. They're all going to die. But, because she accidentally falls into a tornado and kills a bunch of the guys, or actually, no, the tornado doesn't matter at all. But she does use a bomb and kill a bunch of the guys. The robot's a little mad that she used the bomb because it is helpful for killing Harlan's, but whatever. She gets some time with the AI, and she tells the AI her backstory is very sad. And the AI bonds with her a little bit. She doesn't tell him everything. She doesn't tell him that she made Harlan, kind of. I know, but she implies it because we see every scene except for the one where she says, I made Harlan, and it's my fault. At this point, Harlan has captured Sterling K. Brown, and he uses a little wire in his finger to drill into Sterling K. Brown's eye, which is weird because none of the other robots have these. Mm-hmm. Harlan just seems to be something completely different than all the rest of the robots in this movie. Yeah. He might as well be an alien. But yeah, he's got like tendrils and shit. And he's like, I want to save humanity. I don't want to kill it. And Sterling K. Brown's like, shut up, you jerk. I'm a cool action hero sometimes in these. And that's it. So by this point, Smith and Jennifer Lopez are becoming friends. They've gotten over most of their troubles. They haven't fully bonded, but they kind of did. And then she gets captured by Harlan because she walks into a humongous trap, and then just they get her. And Harlan is like, we got you. I always wanted to get you because I'm obsessed with you, because you're obsessed with me, because I'm the bad guy, and we grew up as children. But I need to get your brain because your brain has the codes to Earth, half the codes to Earth. And the other half were in Sterling K. Brown's eyeballs, and I got those. So if I get them from you, I'll have two of the halves, and I'll be able to sneak into Earth with all the bombs and blow up Earth because I want to save humanity from itself. And you're like,
all of the human defense shield that protects all life on Earth runs on two-factor authentication.
Hell yeah.
Two-factor authentication that they will just go with. Like, when all the bombs come back, they'll go, well, listen, we were supposed to bomb Harland with those, and no one's heard from these guys in the last, 2 days, but they have the code, so it must be them, and then let them into Earth's little fence. I don't know. It's pretty stupid. Especially considering the scene before this, Mark Strong got a text that was like, everybody in the plan was dead, and Jennifer Lopez has a mech or something. So it's like, well, he definitely wouldn't have let you through the ship. He would have changed the password, but I guess not. I don't know. And then Jennifer Lopez fully bonds with Harland because she tells him, bonds with Smith. She tells Smith that Harland and she wanted to be like Harland because Harland was smart and her mommy liked Harland. But she, wasn't that smart. So she's like, if you and me can mind meld, then I can get your intelligence to play chess really well. And Harland's like, yeah, do that. She did that. And then Harland got full intelligence, mind melded with the mom, had the mom tried to kill Jennifer Lopez, doesn't work, has the mom kill herself, and then he has full capabilities because he's done a mind meld. So this is his, his origin story, is that she's kind of at fault. Not really, but whatever. This is what she thinks. She cries about it a lot. And Smith is like, it's not your fault. Let's kill Harland. And then they do. It's a big fight. There's a couple big fights. And she does cool action robot stuff, saves everybody. The robot dies. Smith dies. Everybody dies. But then it turns out she goes home. The robot is actually fine because of some bullshit. I don't know. But she gets back in a robot and it's there now. And great. And now she isn't afraid of robots anymore, even though, I don't know, J-Lo, you still probably should be. I feel like this society hasn't learned anything. Yeah. But whatever.
I mean, even at the beginning of the movie, you see all the Amazons and Alexas and everything.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that the Butlerian jihad from Dune happened by now. We were all destroy all computers. We can't trust them.
Nope. Just was that one. He was influencing all the other computers. And even though Smith, who was a computer and virus and stuff, managed to sneak himself back to Earth somehow, even though he died and was fully I'm about to die. I know that. Harland can't have done that, even though Harland also has the ability to hack into Smith's or something. So we don't even need to worry about him.
Don't even worry about it. Also, we explicitly took Harland's CPU. Instead of destroying him, we took it so we could study it in our labs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's no way that could be part of his plan or a thing that will backfire on us.
Well, Atlas too, right? They gotta, give something.
I mean, it's pretty good to do that, for the Atlas, but for the Harland, it kind of sucks. And they're it'll take us 2 years to go through all of his code. And I'm like, it would take you 2 years to go through the code of fucking Google. It will take you decades to go through his code, unless you're letting robots do it, in which case, what the fuck are we doing here? This is crazy that this is something that we're going to continue. But I mean, that is, to be fair, this is a world where we made the world we live in is the one where the cops keep using the rings to implicate us in crimes, and we still keep using the rings. So, who are we to judge?
Fair point.
There's no point when any humanity will give up convenience for, any good reason.
Not even convenience when it comes to AI, because the AI is telling us to eat rocks right now, and all the people
That's
in charge
true.
are we're still going to use it, though.
Oh, yeah. Just don't do what it says. But, we're not going to get rid of it.
Yum, yum, rock's good. Nom, nom.
Get a second opinion before you do anything the AI says to do. But, just, have fun with it. Go crazy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Jennifer Lopez is friends with AI at the end and does full mind melding, gets all the, connection to the AI.
Has done the highest calling any person can aspire to and joined the military.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit where I was saluting my TV because of the dog tags of the fallen troops and stuff. Apparently, you give your guys in mech suits big dog tags or something. Cool. I guess that is fun.
I mean, they had to learn to be careful because the first 50 recruits did get their brains melted by the Neuralinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and then it melts your face too. So they wanted something so they could figure out in the tests like which one was this.
They're like, can you use dental records? Like, nah, man, it's so red hot that your whole skull just puddle.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the movie. All the stuff you think happens. Like I said, you could just kind of imagine most of the scenes. All the lines are what you expect. She says shit like, no more sass from you robots. And the robot says something and then goes like, I thought I was making a joke. And she's like, I've had enough of you. You know, like it's that.
Yeah, they were going for a buddy cop, but large portions of it fall totally flat.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They're going for Rush Hour, but they make Rush Hour 3 or the Rush Hour show or something.
Terminator 2, you've already seen the better version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I even think there's another thing that this is that's more recent because this all feels so familiar. Another movie or show maybe where characters are talking about their amount of sync to each other. Someone's a robot and someone's a person. And like, we're not fully synced. We need to sync better. I don't know. It could be a million things, but
Titanfall 2?
Maybe. I've played most of Titanfall 2. It's pretty good. Everybody always says it's good because it is.
It is good.
But it came out the same week as like a bigger game, so it was a victim of that. I think like it came out the same day as like a Modern Warfare or something like that. And then they made Apex Legends, which is also okay. As someone who played Fortnite this week, Apex Legends rules. It's such a good game. Love the characters, love the gunplay, love the maps, love the lore. You can't be Ninja Turtles in it, but otherwise, A+ Apex.
But you will be streaming Fortnite every weekday for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's where the money is. What am I supposed to do? But I just don't like it. But yeah, that's the movie. Any other thoughts? What do we think of J-Lo in this?
I mean, she's not like terrible. I didn't like not believe her, but like she's not really saving the movie either.
No, yeah, I think she's trying her best.
Yeah, those are both very accurate reviews. Not terrible and trying her best.
Yeah.
I think that crushes it.
Who is there an actor who you think could make this work?
Oh, wow. What a
man or woman, I think. It feels like this movie was written for like Bruce Willis or something. But
I get that.
I was trying to think about this on the way back. Like, who's a guy or girl who like kind of can deliver cheesy one-liners in a way that's like kind of fun? Honestly, like Arnold would be kind of fun to watch do this.
Michelle Rodriguez?
Maybe. She's got mech experience similar to this. And she dealt with AI in the last Fast and Furious movie, I think, maybe. Or maybe the one before that. Who knows? I think one of them had AI, right?
I think it was 9.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
The one where Cypher was the villain.
Yeah, but Cypher's the villain in the new one too, right? Oh no, they have to work with Cypher.
Yes, Michelle Rodriguez escapes the Antarctic prison with Cypher.
Oh my god, that's right.
And then Giselle's there.
I can't wait to see
how. Wait till part 2.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it plays out.
They're figuring that out now. They're filming it today, I think. They started filming it.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Is there anything, I don't know. We'll just go to the wheel. The wheel has a lot of stuff on it.
The wheel's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
I spun the wheel, man, then I went to Diggins is it's bad when the AI does drones. Let's talk about that.
So you talked about the whole like montage at the beginning of
goodness
news about how the AI tried to kill us, which is really bad.
Oh yeah.
But it struck me when there was like the AI controlled drones have killed like hundreds of thousands of people in Bangladesh, I think, or something. And I'm like,
yeah,
that doesn't seem substantially different than how we were using the drones.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, it's almost like well, but it was the Amazon drones that were supposed to give us packages. So they didn't give us the packages we wanted, and they did all that. It was such a bummer. We already have drones for that. Why do we need to do it twice? Come on.
especially right now is a bad
Yeah.
time to have a thing where it's like indiscriminate killing of people is bad when other people do it.
Or is it smart and prescient, you know? Does it make you think? Atlas is very brave. But this isn't, you know what it is, though? This isn't a movie where Harlan is secretly the good guy or anything like that either.
No, absolutely not.
Not even a little.
I don't know about you guys, but I was watching this and I was like, I mean, there must be more to this than that, right?
Right.
There must be a reason he did this, because if not, then this is stupid.
Oh.
And the answer turns out to be there is a reason, but it's still stupid.
It's incredibly stupid. And I mean, for me, though, wait, what's happening? Or like, well, there's no way this isn't happening. It's like, wait, the mom really is dead? She picked up a gun, went off screen, we heard a bang, and then her and Harlan have a mind wipe and we're never going to find her? What? How is she not doing this?
And I was also at the point of like, I mean, obviously, like, Harlan didn't actually make her commit suicide. Like, there was something else going on there that made that happen. Or like she tried to do it to stop Harlan, but he really didn't want her to. But like, no, it all played out exactly as we think from moment one. The only twist is that Atlas was like, go ahead and update your code, Harlan, which changes nothing.
Yeah. I love it in movies like this where that happens and then another character's like, it's not your fault. I'm like, that's what fucking anybody would have told you, bro. Like, nobody on this movie treats her like the pariah she should be. And then you get to the robot man and he's like, it's not your fault for letting the robot get you. But I don't understand how she's not the most famous person on Earth. You know?
Well, nobody knows about that.
It seems like it's a big
Why
old
not?
secret.
I mean, they know that she's the daughter of the person, but nobody knows that she's the one who because the only people who were there who saw it were Harlan, the other robot, her and her mom, who is dead.
Yeah.
So, like, who would have told them?
I guess so. It just feels like if, like, you know, Steve Jobs was like Osama bin Laden's brother or something, you know? And Steve Jobs just went out and did Steve Jobs stuff and nobody ever even really was like, oh, we should check with him if we're doing some bin Laden stuff. They just like, I don't know. And nobody's mad at him for potentially, like, there's not like a bunch of people that are like, fuck you. I know you did something with that bin Laden guy. They're just like, it's all guilt she puts on herself. And it's very, very weird to me.
I mean, there is an implication early in the movie that, like, people don't want to work with her, but it's all suggested that it's because she's annoying and not because of anything like that.
And kind of like techno racist or something, but not really. But like,
well, let's just say she's difficult to work with.
She says to put away your dang phones, kids, and then they like get really mad at her. I get that.
That is a thing she did.
But yeah, that beginning part was bad. I was telling Diggins this. It takes place in the future. For some reason, we still have to watch grainy footage.
Right.
It's the fucking future. It should be better footage than we have now.
That's the bleak sounding future.
Yeah.
It's like, this future sounds bleak.
We have all this AI, but TV technology has stagnated.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, at the beginning, she's watching 4 TVs at once. You get your own.
Yeah, but they're all in 480p.
Yeah.
Well, then you just enhance one and be like, make that TV the biggest one. That's probably the most accurate thing, is that the TikTok adult youth will have to watch like 4 TVs at once to feel anything.
Oh, that was definitely supposed to be like a smart person thing of them being like, she can absorb all the information from the different streams at once because of how cool and smart she is.
Also, I feel like if you've ever seen people try to use that big stupid Apple headset, that's all it is. It's just 5 screens going at once. It's nonsense, but like I do think that's the part that this movie kind of gets. Well, there's a couple things this movie gets right about the future. Also, real quick, just because I have it up, I just want to read what the bottom of the scrolling text is on the TV, where they're saying first AI terrorist identified. It's not that interesting, but it's just like weird. This reads, National Guard seeks to prevent future escalation of Washington incidents, period. And then emergency intervention. And then just that again. It's weird. It's not like Harlan's out there somewhere. It just is like emergency intervention. Watch out. You know?
The National Guard is doing stuff.
Yeah.
I also have a question about our weird future. So there's the creation of the ICN, which is like the International Council of Nations, which is like seems to be some version of the UN. How is it different? Like, Is that ever made clear?
I think it's just that it's a military, I guess.
So it's the UN with teeth?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
it's the UN with little like Harrier jets and stuff.
But also, every person we see in it is American.
Yeah, well, it's
That's
probably
true.
accurate if that ever played out. But good for them. I'm glad they finally made an international police force.
And Mark Strong, not American, but although is he doing an accent in this? I can't remember.
He is. He's like really swallowing like a lot of the.
Yeah, he's
vowels.
doing an American accent.
He's clenching that jaw as tight as he can just to make it all come out like this.
Yeah.
So,
I like him.
I do too. I'm not a hater.
You know what else confuses me about this movie? Or about this part of the movie? Like, towards the end, when they're winning the war, they're like, an assault was made on AI territory, and they've taken the land back, and we're winning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're AI, and they're, like, terrorists, as you call them? They don't, like... They haven't, like, made a country, right?
Apparently they did.
Maybe.
They don't, like, own land. The point of the AI being scary and dangerous is that they're everywhere, and any of them could be evil.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's no scene where the fucking, coffee machine comes alive and starts eating people in their house, Like in Moonfall. Where's that scene?
Yeah.
It's bullshit. They should put that in here.
So they get the black goo out.
Yeah.
It's going to be
that could stop Harlan.
Problematic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I did think about Moonfall with this movie as another movie that had like the thinnest, dumbest justification for why the AI went evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It makes more sense than this. This one's so like, I feel like, well, we'll get to it, but it's so, I don't even really know why, besides just it decided to. Like,
oh yeah, we'll get to it, but it's ridiculous.
It's pretty dumb.
Espanol again landed on one of DJ's robo pronouns.
Oh my god.
Or pronobos, or whatever we were calling it before when we were trying to figure something out for it.
Our sponsor, Pronobos.
Pronobos, yeah.
No, I love this so much. So the AI, so mechs are good, right? AI bad, mechs good.
Yeah.
Even though these mechs seems like pretty smart and they could do way more damage than the AI terrorists, I assume.
And they literally do the same thing that we later learn is what made Harlan evil. So why doesn't it make them evil? Who fucking knows?
Yeah, or
yeah, I do feel like if I got more of a performance out of Jennifer Lopez, where every time she walked into a room, she was like, "Wait, what the fuck is that?" Like, I thought we did it already. What is wrong with you idiots? Like,
this is literally the thing that almost killed the entire world. Like, what the fuck? Did we learn nothing?
Is there a room full of Harlans back there too? Just so you can have them?
Imagine you walk, like, the military was like, we need your help. And you walked into a room and it was just a hangar full of Hitlers.
Yeah.
Just like, we cloned Hitler to ask for all of his advice on our future military operations. And we had to make a lot of them to make sure that we could cover all of them. Like, why? Why did you do that?
Well, no, the Hitler's friendly this time. Nothing's going to go wrong. Hitler, to shake your hand and then put him on your shoulders and then carry him around. And then you just do what Hitler says. From here on out, everything will be fine.
Oh my gosh.
So weird that this is a world that had an AI apocalypse and then just got right back on the horse,
I mean, again, given how our people in power are reacting to our shitty AI, maybe that's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
God. So, where was I going with? Oh yeah. So we're getting an intro to like, here's how the mechs work with Neuralink, and she Atlas meets one. And there's like a back and forth, and it's like, I'm not working with it. And the robot goes, my pronouns are she and her, not it. And I'm like,
and you're like, ha 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 ha, those stupid Gen Z. What a good joke at their expense.
Woke robots.
It's funny because the robot is woke.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is my preview to our Is It Woke segment, but it's not that was bad. It just jostled me a little bit, It kind of
it was bad. It was certainly bad, but the idea of it isn't bad.
No, like the idea of like someone telling you their pronouns, especially when you get them wrong, totally fine.
Yeah.
The idea of having the stupid robots say it as a joke in your bad movie.
Bad. Yeah.
That's how far the AI has come along, I guess, is that, you know, the gender and pronoun identity is important. It's important. I just, man, that was...
And they didn't get it right, because in the future, we'll know they're all women, because they'll all be doing sexy woman voice to us. Like, oh my God, I didn't even know you could get in the robot. Okay. You show me what the buttons are, cake or pie. I don't
Wow,
know.
I love having you inside me.
Oh my gosh. Or sexy man voice. It's on the table. It's on
I
the
don't know.
table.
I don't see
think
it.
That's what this
I
movie
don't
proved.
see it.
Smith, I think, could get it. All right.
I don't think Smith
you?
could. Yeah, I don't know. Although,
Um,
is she in love with Smith? Maybe.
at the end, I was getting some vibes, man. I'm telling you. I was getting some
Could
vibes.
she have sex with the machine? Probably not, right?
I mean, she
I don't know,
just
it's
has
got a
to
lot of bullshit
put
in
his CPO chip into like a vibrator.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah, just like in Her.
Well, in Her, they hire another
Yeah,
human being
they-
to be like her surrogate.
Oh,
Yeah, they get-
what if at the end when Mark Strong shows up with the plant, he's got a little thing on his head? Me and or whatever, Smith are working together. This was Smith's idea.
Smith had a favor to ask of me.
Yeah,
Sounds like bad ideas all around. Love it.
really good. Did you think she was gonna get with Mark Strong at the end of the movie?
Oh no! I thought the robot.
No.
I thought like some man was gonna come and be like, "It's me, Smith." Like,
Oh
I don't
my
know how that would
God.
have worked, but that's where I was leaning.
They should have done that. Yeah.
Again, I don't know how the logistics or whatever, but it's what I was rooting for. So yeah, I don't know. This is a weird movie. It's a strange, weird movie.
No, yeah, it sucks.
You know what this kind of reminded me of?
Hmm?
What?
That episode of Futurama where Bender's supposed to get an upgrade, but he doesn't want to, so he runs away and like makes a new body out of wood to like
Yeah.
upgrade himself. Which it reminded me of that because the end of that episode, it turns out that the whole thing was actually the upgrade convincing him that the
Right.
new robot is good.
Right.
Mhm.
So I was like, this feels like the thing that's happening in her mind that the AI is doing to her to convince her that the AI is good.
Yeah, I think that's right. And they're just gonna take over and just pick up Harland on his shoulders and parade him down the street while she's just having like a little AI coma or whatever. Do you think Harland is the only one of these robots that actually looks like a robot? Right? Like, well, actually, that's not true. There's like spider leg guy and stuff, but like the first guy that we see that's a robot might as well be a guy in a weird jacket, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like Harland should like change his appearance once or twice. You know, it'd be really easy for him to do a lot of mischief if he didn't look like a robot. But he doesn't seem interested in that for some
A
reason.
bunch of shapeshifters. Is that what you'd prefer?
You just download yourself into another body or something that doesn't look like you. You know,
Oh,
go on
sure.
TV and make a little video message and be like, "I'm Harlan," ha ha ha, and then just switch to a different guy for sure.
So you're saying he should have done an Iron Man 3?
Yeah, he should have done that. Honestly, Iron Man 3, Ultron, any of those. It's one of the benefits of being an AI is you're not confined to one little body. But for some reason, Harlan is, and it's dumb. Yeah, I liked him though. As Bunwheel again landed on one of Diggins is describing your main character's personality. She's got a lot of flaws. She's not perfect.
Yeah, it's just so instead of like demonstrating her character flaws, though, in the beginning of the movie when we have the conversation with Mark Strong and Sterling K. Brown's just like, we can't work with her. She's antisocial and doesn't trust people.
Yeah.
And Mark Strong is like, but that she went through a lot, and that's why.
It's good enough for
And so,
me.
it's like, cool. I'm glad that they went to the Zack Snyder school of establishing personality, where someone just stares into the camera and goes, here is the personality our main character has. Please watch while it changes.
I know that seems like the Zack Snyder school, but I think that's only because Zack Snyder made the most recent Netflix movie. I think this is the Netflix school, because I think Red Notice has about the same business going on.
You know what? That's a
Where it's
fair
like-
point.
Yeah, I think a lot of movies do this now, but I do expect it from these more than any others.
It's got to be like there's some executive at Netflix. Maybe it's Ted Sarandos who like they make the movie and the executive watches it is like, I don't understand what the main character's deal is. Like nobody told me in the movie, so I don't know.
I think that's right.
Every person has to add that scene in because that one executive just won't get it until you put the scene in.
I buy it.
Yeah. I think there's that, and I also think I wonder how many Netflix movies start with the same bullshit like crawl of stuff, you know? Like I feel like The Gray Man probably also has like world terrorist Chris Evans out blowing stuff up. Boom, boom, boom. Here's a newsman telling you about it. Like that is the new kind of lazy way to start a movie. It's the equivalent of having like the guy come and say like there were 7 rings, one was given to each guy, but now it's just this. And this has been around for a while, but I do think we're getting a lot of it. And maybe it's just because AI is the villains now, and that's how you start like a tech movie. But it sucks.
It does suck. I concur.
She does like coffee and chess. Those are her 2 qualities besides those other things.
Yeah, she's antisocial, doesn't trust people, likes coffee, likes chess. Those are the 4 pillars of the J-Lo character's personality.
Yeah. And she's like, she's not like, she's a mess, but not really, because she like has glasses and kind of messy hair and sleeps with papers. She likes paper instead of computer.
Yeah.
But
that's huge.
Besides that, there's really not too much wrong with her. She seems like she's mostly got it together, you know?
Yeah, she's a little touchy about the subject of her AI brother who tried to genocide humanity.
Well, and the fact that it's her fault, right?
Yeah.
It's not helping.
Even though everybody's like, it's not your fault. Please just stop whining about this. She's like, no, it is my fault.
And because it
Mark
totally
Strong
is. I cannot emphasize enough how much this is your fault.
Yeah, Mark Strong is so nice to her and so giving her so many chances. But also, I guess she's like the greatest scientist at this stuff too. She's an analyst. What does that mean?
They're those people you hire to come in and be like, to hire you like a consultant. You hire them to come in and be like, this is what I think all that means. And then you ignore everything they say and do whatever you wanted to do anyway.
Yeah. Does she just analyze Harlan stuff?
Imagine AI stuff generally, I would think.
She must be the worst. Because like she hates AI so much. She even probably barely uses it. You know? Probably brings her little magnet and assassinates it all.
You think so, like, Nando, but in her apartment in the beginning of the movie, we see her use all the Alexas.
It's weird. This movie doesn't work.
No,
I don't know.
It doesn't.
Yeah. She does have a lot of flaws, though. I feel bad for her because, like, at the end of the movie, she's got her hair in a ponytail, and we're like, she's got it back together. And I think if this character had showered before she went to Army, everything would have been different. You know, people would have taken her more seriously because the movie would have known that she wasn't such a screw up. And
she has her hair in a ponytail. Also, she's wearing clothing more flattering to the famous J-Lo asset.
So there's that, but also, yeah, I feel like the glasses also disappear for some reason. I don't understand.
Because nobody can be hot while they're wearing glasses, Nando.
Well, especially women.
I guess maybe she like got cyber contacts because Harlan fucked her eyes up real good. But like, I don't understand why we even bother with those. Besides, just there was somebody on set that was like, she's missing something. Ooh, and they put the glasses on.
I mean, listen, if we were in the cyber future and it was like widely available and considered safe, I would go to the cyber doc with the melon baller and say, give me the good eyes.
Really?
I'm tired of these ones.
Wow.
My eyes are terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my eyes are good. I'd probably still do it because I would want to be able to read stuff from far away and see infrared and bullshit I'd never use. But like, I'd have to get a subscription to the eyes would suck, but I would definitely still do it.
Read stuff from far away too. And by far away, I mean more than 4 inches away from my face.
There's not really that much good stuff to read these days, you know? It's not worth it. Stick to movies. Stick to Atlas and whatever the next Atlas is. I'm sure there's another one right around the corner. Rebel
They'll
Moon
just
3,
keep
probably.
shoveling the slop into the pile.
Yeah, I should probably figure this out. This is going to be a big, they probably got a humongous release schedule this year. Ooh, Stolen. Ooh, The Union. Either of those, probably. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley.
Ooh,
You got that coming out.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm very, very worried about that.
You should be.
But yeah, Atlas was that's Atlas. Okay. The next one of these. Oh, that Hitman movie. That's actually good, probably. Trigger warning. It's got Jessica Alba, and she's like a cop or something.
Okay.
Probably that.
With a name like that, I'm sure it's good.
Yeah. And then, yeah, The Union. Oh, The Union. I'm excited for this. This is August, so we got a little bit of time. It is formerly called Our Man from Jersey, is an upcoming American action comedy thriller from Julian Farino, written by Joe Barton and David Guggenheim, with a script by Guggenheim. Stars Mark Wahlberg, Halle Berry, Mike Coulter, and then some other people. Julian Farino, most known for directing the first 3 seasons of Entourage. Yeah, The Union sounds pretty cool. Comes out in August of this year. I'm pretty psyched for this.
Color me excited.
Yeah. But yeah, so other stuff about J-Lo. I don't know. She's okay. I think it's so funny that she has paper, and everybody's like, why would we even use paper?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we use computers to fight the robot? Like,
they grill her for that one, man.
Yeah,
come on.
and like, I understand why you wouldn't be used to paper in the space future, but like, I feel like if you think about it more than not at all, you'd realize why it might be good to do that when you're going up against the guy who famously reprogrammed all AI to try to kill people.
Yeah. It's just so funny that this world has learned nothing. But again,
we deserve to be destroyed by the AI overlords.
Oh, 100%.
Like, please kill us
definitely.
Also, it's been again landed on one of Diggins's realistically shitty AI. Let's talk about the AI.
So, like, the midpoint of the movie is supposed to be all the ways where it's like, oh, if she would just Neuralink and sync with him, then everything would be going so much better, and like they'd be winning. And I'm like, maybe that's true, but only because this AI is deliberately sabotaging her until she doesn't. Like, it clearly is capable of doing all of the things she wants and tells it to do, but it's just being a little asshole about it.
Yeah, nobody likes a smartass.
It keeps
just to tell the computer.
It keeps showing her the ads for Neuralink.
Yeah.
Like, hey, did you try your Neuralink yet? It's like, shut the fuck up about Neuralink. I don't care.
Like, at the point where she's like running away from the evil robots, and she's like, is there anything we can use? And he's like, well, if you're synced with me, you already know the shoulder cannon can fire backwards. And then she's like, just do it. And then he does it without her input, entirely by himself. And it's like, why didn't you just fucking do it then?
Yeah.
If you knew it existed and could have done it.
Especially because the robot does think it's alive. So it's like,
yeah,
I guess I'll fucking die then with you because we didn't use the robot machine guns that I knew we had and, all the other cool shit because I was trying to prove a point or something.
Yeah, it's a real smart ass.
No wonder Harlan tried to kill everybody. They put so much sass in these things. They're way off. Yeah, that's the one thing we got right. Not a lot of sass in the machines. We tried to make them sexy ladies instead. So that's going to be another bucket of problems. But
now it'll be that other Futurama episode where civilization nearly collapsed because they made sexy robots.
Yeah.
No, it's they do try to justify that a little bit where they're like, I've analyzed it. I'm studying your personality to give you a personality that you'll like back. And I'm like, surely you would know that that's a bad idea. People who made these robots. I don't like myself. I don't want to talk to myself.
Right.
I want to talk to a compatible personality.
Right. You want
come on.
If you're
Nobody
Jennifer
wants
Lopez,
to talk to themselves.
Yeah, if you're Jennifer Lopez, you want to get in the thing and you want the thing to go like, listen, I hate you, you hate me. Here's the list of guns. Let's go. Like, hopefully we can get home and I'll never have to see you again.
Yeah, you're a piece
but
of shit.
Instead, it's like,
you.
we can be friends. It's not good.
listen, I don't know about you guys. When I meet a person who I understand is like almost totally exactly like me, I'm like, fuck this guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I kill that person immediately. So I'm like, we can't have two.
They're a nerd.
We've already got one, and we're
them.
barely holding on. You know, we can't. The Earth cannot afford two. I spent because I actually have something kind of similar to that. This is what AI would look like. That scene where she does first sync with the AI is so funny. I think if there's one thing that people should watch again, it's this. She because she's in the machine and it's like a HUD. There's all kinds of shit. There's buttons. There's like little things, dials, and all kinds of things she could turn that are analog. And then there's also like screens with little things on them, like a little target reticle or so like it's supposed to symbolize guns or little jetpacks or whatever. And things like, if you sync with me, we can use full whatever synchronization, and then we'll be able to use all my shit. And she's like, I don't wanna. And she's 50% syncs, but still has a moment where it all goes crazy and her eyes open up and she sees the computer. And what this means is all the little icons float a little closer to her head. Like, oh my God. It's like commercials for like the virtual boy. Like, oh my God, it sucks. I kind of thought it would just be like my brain would do it and I would think I'm the robot, but it's not. It's like, what if the buttons were right in front of me? Which is like what AI and like VR is like. Like, that's the coolest thing we can get out of it. It's like, what if you could bring the screen with you, put it over here? It sucks.
Yeah, and like they're still also like talk to each other out loud.
Yeah.
But a thing he specifically says is like, if you do the neural link, then we can like talk in our minds much, much faster. But they never do that.
Yeah.
Also, another point of the AI, the robot being like deliberately obtuse and bad if you don't use the neural link. When she's falling to her death and she's like, turn the thrusters on, the robot goes like, should I turn the thrusters on? You're not using the neural link, so I don't know. Should I use the thrusters? It's like, what the why would anyone design this that way?
Skip ad.
Why would the thrusters automatically deploy when you can tell that you're going to die if they don't?
Yeah.
You still have the human in the loop. That these robots still will need the human. We will not be... AI will not replace us. We will not be replaced by AI.
And there's like a world where that makes sense. Like there's especially the world of this where like there is AI in these, but it sucks. And like you can't Neuralink with it or do any cool shit. You just have to like yell like fire missiles and it like doesn't understand you and you have to yell it like fire missiles
Calling
right into
Colonel
the thing.
Liar.
No. Ugh, back. But like that's not what this is. This thing from Jump is smart. And it's like, hi, it's me, the guy. And she's just like, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make sense why it doesn't like her. And it doesn't make sense why but later it feels like it wants to preserve its life because it believes it is alive. It doesn't need to be convinced of this.
Yep.
It just knows it. And she doesn't give a shit. Also, it's weird that this thing never gets to talk to Harland. You know? Why is there not a scene where Harland's like, hey, they suck, right? She's a fucking loser.
Yeah,
let's kill her.
You saw the pollution when you Neuralinked with her, right? Isn't that a problem?
She made me kill her mom or whatever. Don't believe her lies. Let's kill everyone in humanity instead. But that's how much this movie keeps forgetting Smith is supposed to be a character. Is every time a thing for Smith to do happens, it's like, well, it's not going to do that because he's just like a car.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And whatever. I guess he is. Oh man, this movie. Spun the wheel again. One of DJs. This is not checking for air defense systems.
Hey, so this is okay. So I want to talk a little bit about the military's plan. So, Atlas finds out where Harlan is hiding. So it's like, we're going to go chase him, which first of all, I don't know why. It seems like he fucked off. Let him fuck off.
Yeah.
Right? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, you have your space guard thing. He's not going to be able to get through that unless he can.
Yeah, because I mean, surely, DJ, that no one would ever be able to take the nothing on the random planet they live on. A massive concrete and steel base factory where they churn out robots and bombs and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't.
That would be stupid.
I don't.
He was like gluing plants together for like 100 years or something. And a big giant tapestry of all the computers and stuff you could possibly want.
Yeah. So first off, it seems like you should just let sleeping dogs lie. But no, we have to go after him. Fine. So they're like, we're gonna take a ton of Rangers and a ton of whatever. We're going after Harlan.
And bombs. A shitload of like super good planet destroying bombs.
Yeah. Emphasis on the planet destroying on that one.
Yeah.
This might
That's okay.
later.
That's the only planet they can be used on, right? You would assume, or something. Nah.
So they execute plan to go after Harlan, and they get there with all their Rangers and their ship and the bombs and everything, and there's just like air defense systems out the ready to take them out, and it's like, you didn't check.
Mm-hmm.
You just got blown up by missiles. Your guys are comically falling out the ship, clumsily getting into their mechs, and it's like, oh, what are we gonna do? And you're just getting your lunch eaten by like the most complicated air defense system ever. How are they just not in orbit, being like, oh man, we did some scans of the planet, and Harlan has this place on lockdown, so this is bad. We should probably figure this one out.
It's even funnier because it's directly after like multiple scenes of her going like, listen guys, this guy's dangerous and you need to be careful. And they're all like, oh, what lady doesn't know what she's talking about? We're the coolest, badassest dudes ever. And we're going to be good at this.
This is the line Johnny Drama was born to deliver.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's that line.
But then the scene immediately after that is Colonel Sterling K. Brown, also like in a much friendlier, nicer way, going like, hey, listen, I appreciate you're concerned, but we're professional soldiers who like really take this sort of thing seriously, and we're definitely going to do everything we can to make sure this goes well. And then they don't do anything, and they all die.
What are you, some sort of Harlan expert? Why are we going to listen to you? And also, her explanation of Harlan sucks. She tells him, like, he's a sweet AI who's a terrorist, and even when you think you figured Harlan out, you haven't. Which all it amounts to in the movie is he will steal the bombs and try to use them on us. Like, that was his grand master plan. There was no master plan besides get caught.
Why did we come with bombs? Maybe that was a bad idea.
Well, we came with bombs to like orbital strike the planet and
right.
kill him and then leave.
Well, that should be plan A.
Decided not to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like anything else on this planet besides AI terrorists. Just bomb it. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
This is the world. Like the future of this world. We would bomb this planet before we even found out Harlan was there. We would bomb all the planets that he could maybe even have gone to.
Yeah, the Department of Defense would have been like, we've calculated that there's a 0.0000007% chance that this planet will, in the next millions of years, develop sentient life that could be opposed to our economic instruments. So we firebombed the whole place.
Yeah. Yeah, Harlan would get to that planet and be like, all right, no one will expect to see us here. And it would just be incinerated immediately because that's what they would do.
I believe it's another wheel choke, so I don't want to go into how Harlan developed all this stuff, but I just think it's wild that we sent all of our best Marines to just get raffle stomped by the air defense systems.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. 28 years of scavenging also spun the wheel.
So Harlan has been on this planet for 28 years. And in that 20 years, it is described that he did scavenging to make a fully operational military base with a bunch of other AIs that, sure, maybe he went to there with. Maybe when he fled, he took a bunch of insurgents. That's fine.
He was kind of he had an army of something.
So that's fine. Sure. But they have enough energy to keep running perpetually. I guess maybe that's fine. But and then like air defense systems and ships and guns, and I assume they didn't bring everything because he was scavenging. What was he scavenging? What Minecraft levels of
branches
of building was he getting? The wood. Well, yeah, the wood, and then the ore turns into the gold, which turns into a gun, which is a dragon. Whatever. I just don't understand. how he
Well,
did this.
what the movie doesn't actually show you is that right across the valley from where his base is, that the main characters never go to, is a flourishing advanced civilization that does live on this planet. And so by
Yeah.
scavenging, he meant like he mined some minerals and then went and sold them to them. And he hired a bunch of contractors to come out and build a military base for him.
I
Like,
see.
that's
For
what he
people,
meant.
for people that don't kind of get the visual of this, what happens is we land on this planet and there's a lot of fucking around and running around in the woods and the snow and the rocks. We go through all the biomes. Like I said, there's a big tornado for 6 seconds. And then, but we have already fought Harland, and besides having a couple of guys that run around with guns, he has all these planes and shit. He's got a lot of air defenses. So like that's what kills most of our guys. But we still never see Harlan's home base until more than halfway through the movie. He just walks through the jungle and finds Wakanda. Just like a whole city with flying technology and lights and shit, and like guys pushing things. And then when she gets captured, she gets thrown into like a garage with random fucking chains hanging around.
Yep.
When did we build that, Harland? For what purpose? Why doesn't everything even look more basic or more futuristic, but not this middle, Harland? But maybe he's like nostalgic for Earth, I guess. I don't know. When you saw that planet, were you like, oh, he's working with someone on Earth? Probably Mark Strong, I guess, right? Or is he an alien too, or an evil guy? Has he been feeding this to Harland?
That was, I think it was you or Nando who said it, but like that's the right there. There had to have been another big bad. It had to have been the mom or the dad or someone behind the curtain, not just
or her. Secretly her
sure.
with some sort of weird, second presence in her brain.
Yeah, secret Neuralink that, Manchurian candidate. Like it had to have been something besides. Nope. No other big bad.
He just did it.
He just did it. Everybody that was nice was nice.
He hired those guys who built the deep sea underwater base from the Meg 2.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of work these days.
They're good though. They're good.
They're good. I mean, nobody even noticed them building like the most intensive, like labor-intensive operation in human history.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what Harlan was just like. All right, I'm gonna have my boys back on Earth. Divulge my location to Atlas when I'm ready, and I'm gonna have him bring the Bobs. This whole thing, like, this is his plan. I guess his plan makes like somewhat sense, but like if you're Atlas, well, I mean. On paper, a little bit, I guess. But if you're Atlas, your whole thing has got to be, we are never going after Harlan because it will only end in our downfall. He cannot hurt us. Only we can hurt us.
I mean, I guess part of me would also just be like, I think we need to, I think you'd figure there would be a bad guy in this, or like Mark Strong would be the character who does this too, who like we get there and we're going to bomb him. And then Mark Strong's like, actually, we should probably try to capture him because we can make some money off this AI or something like that.
I mean, that is what happened. They're like, the guys at this corporation said, we got to get the CPU. You'd expect, there'd be like the CEO who's involved in the military planning because it's a dystopic future.
Mm-hmm.
And corporations control all the government even more than they already do.
Even more.
And the CEO would be like, no, you gotta get it back. You gotta bring it back. And then it's alien, and it turns out the corporation wanted this to happen for some reason or whatever.
Yeah, that would be easy. Also, there's AI robot terrorists on Earth now, apparently, right? Like that's where the guy from Captain or the Marvels is and stuff.
Yeah.
Why isn't he doing shit?
What, the leftover insurgents? I don't know.
Yeah, just fucking getting the missiles and stuff by himself or something. I don't know.
Instead of the convoluted,
there's plenty of things you could go, like military installations you could sneak into and set off that would destroy the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
We love building weapons that no one should ever fire.
Yeah. We barely have a technology to find any of these guys. Like, we have some scanning stuff, but like, I don't know. This world sucks. You could sneak around. It's fine. And apparently we have regular robots too. So we'd probably just have to dress up like a different robot and pretend to be them and go beep, beep, beep. And then he'd get through everything. And then he just turns back into a guy and unscrews some bolts. And then our nukes explode. And then we all die or something.
Or just reprogram the robots that we immediately started using again. A thing Harland is explicitly capable of doing.
Yeah, it's so weird that Harland can do that. Wait, Harlan must be communicating with this guy then, right?
Presumably.
So, yeah, wait, what's he doing then? He's like sending messages. Like, I don't know. Maybe Harlan is just like obsessed with her, but like he's not though, because like you kind of think he will be, but he really just wants her little code to get into the little gate. And
also the prisoner that she gets the info from the beginning of the movie, when she finds him on the planet later, he has the memory of that exact interrogation, which means up until the moment of his destruction, he was broadcasting information across the galaxy to this planet.
This movie doesn't make any sense. Oh, it sucks. This part sucks the most, maybe. It's not good.
This movie's so stupid.
It's so dumb. I spun the wheel again. Lands on one of mine. I do just have to say this because they wrote it in my notes. Mark Strong is here. That's how you know it's a movie. I did like him in this. I thought he was good.
Until I see Mark Strong, I'm never sure if it's a movie or not.
But then he shows up and you're like, oh, this is a movie. Right. Like,
I didn't wake
got
up.
actors and a character. He was good.
It was nice that they threw him in the middle there, just in case we forgot Mark Strong was in the movie.
It is confusing because it's on Netflix, so you can't be sure. But you're like, oh, this isn't Tires or the Tom Brady roast. It's a movie.
Yeah, this is a movie. This is not a coffee commercial like it seems. This is actually a movie. I get the weird thing about that, and I've already said this, but I do want to like restate it because it's so crazy. Mark Strong gets a coordinate, he gets a transmission, and this is like, how is this guy not the bad guy? Why are we even seeing him get this transmission of just her screaming, everyone's dying, we're all dying, Harlan's here. And then he like looks at it and goes, did you get any transmissions from anybody else? And then the person who gave it to him was like, no. And he's like, what could this mean? And it seems like Harlan thought, even though that got out, which he must have known about, that he still would have been able to get through the little force field.
Right.
With the codes. Like,
I mean, that was so crazy that I assumed at first that like, oh, Harlan like faked that or let that go through so that they would come and that was part of his plan. But then he describes his plan and that's not part of it at all. And I'm like, well, then what's happening?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only reason, like, Harlan should not be able to win this movie, but everybody else in it is equally pretty boring and stupid in terms of like their brains and what they want to do with all the technology. But maybe the Neuralink just like melts your brain a little bit. Not like in a way like it melts your whole face, but just like you're like a little bit dumber every time you turn it on.
It does seem to be like they insist it makes them smarter. We see no evidence for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it just makes you kind of a guy. Also, most of the robots, I think it's so funny how some of the robots are robots and some of them are just guys. But there's very few in the middle. There's not like, there's one guy with spider legs, but there's not like a bunch of big army of guys with extra arms and shit. Even though we'll find out later that Harlan has all kinds of cool bullshit going on in his body. But like, why didn't he share that with all the extras in Halo costumes? They could have used those big swords, you know? The mom definitely didn't make that. That's a technology that I'm assuming he developed here. I don't think the mom was like, well, I want to make a sweet robot and let's give it magnet arms. So in case you think they're cut off, they go right back. And yeah, a big sword.
No, the mom was just a huge fan of the Soul Calibur series.
Yeah.
And Ivy was always her main. So she's like, I want to give my robot a cool Ivy sword that like is also a whip.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, the idea that if anybody actually could make one of these, I think you would want it to do A, childcare, because childcare seems like a real chore. And then B, karate and like big laser fights and stuff. Those are the only two things I'd actually want from this. But yeah, Mark Strong was pretty cool. And I think Sterling K. Brown was pretty cool. I like Sterling K. Brown and stuff.
I mean, for the little bit he's allowed to do.
Yeah. I like that he got to have his little stupid death or whatever.
What was his like dying line? It was like, hey,
it's like eat shit, I think, or something.
Eat shit.
Yeah.
What was the name of the guy from the Marvels? It began with a C. It was like Calyx?
No. It was like Cavius.
Wait, which Marvel's character are we talking about?
The one who was talking to about retirement plans from the Marvels.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, whatever. It's like, let's just say it's Cavix. Hey, Cavix, eat shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a way to go out.
Casca.
That is Casca.
Yeah.
Hey, Casca,
It's like-
eat shit.
It's like this movie was directed by Crashmore. Like, it's just like, there's got to be a line, right? Like some line that we can repeat from earlier that he was saying to him. But like, no, it's just a fuck you. It's crazy. It's the only thing that I liked about Fall Guy. Well, not the only thing, but the only thing that I remember loving about Fall Guy was how much every time Fall Guy came up with a plan, it ended with that we beat the shit out of him. I thought that was pretty funny. And like, that was the whole, everybody in this movie all the time. Just rock your shit, blow him up.
I want to do my best Crashmore. Like, hey, hey, Casca, eat shit.
Yeah. Fuck you. Nobody even likes you, Casca.
I can't do a good Crashmore, but
You gotta do it a little dopier. It's like,
yeah.
Hey, Casca, eat shit. No, that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all.
That's your Vin Diesel. That's all that was.
No, that was my Vin Diesel. Now here's my Crashmore. Hey, Casca, eat shit.
I actually like that.
That was also your Vin Diesel. They keep being different Vin Diesels.
That one was good. That one was good. I maintain that one was good.
Also, I spun the wheel again, landed on one of Diggins's Harlan the Climate Fascist.
Right.
It's good that they did that.
We find out that because like I said at the beginning, they're like the evil AI just wants to kill everybody, and I'm like, that can't be it.
Yeah,
there's more going on here than that. And it turns out the answer is the evil AI wants to kill everyone because of climate change.
The evil AI, he did this crazy thing. He determined that we humans were a cause of our own destruction, and to save us, he needed to destroy us and kill us all or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty dope.
I don't know if there's a wheel slice for how he came to that conclusion also.
Oh no, what was it? Is there one for that? I can't remember.
I had said one about...
Oh, yeah, Children Make Robots Evil. I spun the wheel landing on that. Yeah.
Just because those two are kind of related.
Mm-hmm.
The way he comes to that conclusion is absolutely insane.
It really is. I feel like I missed a scene or something. I wonder if anything happened.
Because it's... Like, normally with these kind of stories, what it is the AI, like, grows up with, like, you know, gets created by humans, studies them for a long time, like, learns things slowly, and then like eventually comes to that conclusion and tries to destroy them after having been integrated in society for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The way it works in this movie is the robot, who's like basically a child who doesn't know anything, does the Neuralink with Atlas because of the whole thing we already said about she wanted her mom to love her as much as she loved the robot. So she's like, teach me how to be cool and smart like you. And he's like, we have to Neuralink, but I need someone else's permission. And then they do it. They link up. He gets to like read info from her mind. And this like,
oh my God,
10-year-old child. He reads the mind of this 10-year-old child.
Yeah.
And is immediately comes to the conclusion, well, humanity's got to die.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the world through the eyes of this 10-year-old child, and it is clear to me that humans are a greedy, self-destructive race that deserve nothing but death.
Not wrong, right? You gotta go with the not wrong on that one.
I mean,
what could he possibly have seen in her mind?
All that garbage. We saw it. It was a lot of garbage, and I think bombs.
It was mostly kittens and shit. Like, that's the thing that I think is so strange. We see this, and it's mostly nice things and a couple of bombs, but, like, it's kittens and puppies and chess mostly.
And why was the 10-year-old thinking about birds covered in oil and bombs and stuff anyway?
Yeah.
Well, she's a child. She's not thinking about that.
The 10-year-old's got some problems. I think that's been well established.
It really is insane how many of these are just pretty much normal things, and then it's like a little bit of climate change, and it's like it's not even that, because I was thinking about this before. It shows a red panda at one point, and I'm like, oh, is a red panda extinct in this universe or something? And like they're gonna see a big mass grave of red pandas or something, but we don't. We just see like normal climate change stuff and like, you know, atomic bomb. But like, I figure Harlan knew about atomic bomb or something.
And
you know,
pollution, probably. Right?
Yeah.
Why does a 10-year-old know about the atomic bomb?
She's like a super genius who plays chess or whatever, so she's very smart and powerful.
I guess the part of this that I just find so strange is he plugs in and his brain immediately, like, there's no like arc. Maybe this is like a direction thing with like Simu Liu, but there's no like, baby kittens, wow, awesome. And then like, wait, no, the baby kittens are on fire. Like, he just goes straight to kind of confused the whole time. And then at the end, he like decides to kill the mom. And it's so weird that it's not just evil stuff. That the beginning is like cute little screensavers, and he's still like, wowee, that's incredible.
And like, why does that not do the same thing to any other robot in the entire rest of the movie?
I don't know.
Like,
they probably tell you, like, before you link, just don't think about climate change, please, guy.
It's just so insane because it's immediate 180-degree turn. He's just like innocent little robot who is like, hello, sister. Our mom was just here talking to me. I would love to help you. And then 5 seconds in her brain, all people must die. Creator who I consider my mother, shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah.
But by the way, I don't know if we mentioned that part, but the way that Neuralink works is that it allows the robot person to take over the motor control of the user, which seems insane.
Yeah, including the time when the robot does it in the movie that it just kind of gets away with, and it's weird that like that's not more of a thing.
And now this is an ability that is unlocked via like Atlas's bullshit, right? Like, she's the reason that happens. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think
it sounds like he had this upgrade ready to go.
Okay.
And it's just like, I just need someone to tell me to do it. And she's like, okay, do it. In which case, I really do think this isn't really her fault, considering he could have gotten anyone to just be like, hey, can you tell me to do this? Cool.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
She was poor unlucky person. Got saddled with this.
It's wild.
Yeah, it is pretty wild.
Also, it's wild that she's got a gun.
Just hanging out.
What is this?
Yeah.
In case you need to shoot a Harlan? Like, why do you even have this?
Hey, but she practices good gun safety. It's in a safe.
Yeah.
And loaded or something.
Okay, well, so not perfect gun safety.
Yeah.
Now he's a climate fascist, and he's like, he's one of those depopulation freaks who's like, the only way to stop climate change is if most people die.
Yeah.
And then they have to listen to me, their new god king.
And like, and most people die is like, okay, what are you going to kill? Like, Australia, what are we leaving? It's like, he's going to destroy the whole planet. This bomb is just going to kill us all. Who's he going to reign over?
The description of the bomb that he's going to use is like a carbon bomb or whatever that will ignite the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like, everyone will die, as will everything you claim you're trying to protect, because the planet will be uninhabitable.
Right. Scorched earth idea.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Although in his plan, the AIs are going to live with, like, it seems like the AIs are going to take over for people. Like, it's like, we, with the remaining society left, we will take over as their new gods.
Yeah.
I mean, he specifically says that they'll just guide people. Like, they'll be in charge of the people. He expects humans to still be around.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At least some of them. Crazy plan.
So crazy. Only a couple more things on the wheel. Spin it again. DJ, one of yours, cashing in your V-Bucks. Let's talk about the cool shit at the end.
Oh my god. I don't have to like labor on this, but this is like kind of just amazing. So there's a part where she Neuralinks back with Smith because he was like out of commission, whatever. They get back together and he's like, they stripped all of my weapons except for my one secret weapon that was undocumented. To which I'm saying, why do you have an undocumented weapon? Can we unpack that one a little bit? You can get some secret wares there. I don't love this, but anyway, it's they don't have my super secret weapon, so we're fine. So then they have she like has the HUD, which then meant the screen's too close, and like they're like looking around the room, and it's like, we could use this. We have like a pipe and a sword, and like we'll make our own weapons. And then the line she uses is or I think Smith goes, "Do you see what I see?" And she goes, "Yeah, upgrades." Just so cheesy, so cheesy.
Why were those there in the first place? Because there's explicitly the stuff from the other mechs. Why did the robots drag them into their torture chamber?
I don't know. To harvest them so they could make more humongous skyscrapers and stuff. Although I feel like they're probably done with this planet.
Part of their scavenge. Yeah, it seems like their plan's about to be done. What do they need it for?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Good on them, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you got to use, you can't pollute. So maybe that was it. Maybe they were just like, our robot trash pickup doesn't come until Tuesday, so we have to put her somewhere. Harlan this is the only thing he gives a shit about, so we got to do it. Also, how awesome was it when she's like, upgrades, and then there's a bunch of guys that are like on the other side of the wall, and then you see her slowly walk out, and for a second, it seems like upgrades means she picked up a pipe. And there's multiple hands and other weapons, but it starts with the pipe. Like, is this fucking Boondock Saints or something? No one even thought about a pipe.
She's in Streets of Rage. You pick up the pipe and it's like, wow, your range is so much bigger. That's huge.
Yeah. And it's not even a pipe. She barely uses a pipe. She just runs over all of them.
There's no way I'm going to be able to pull this up in time because I'm doing this in real time. But like, I forget like what shows up over the HUD, but it's very much like it's almost like there are prices to go with like spending your V-Bucks like next to it.
Yeah, the V-Bucks prices.
I know that's not what's there, but it seems like that's what's there. Another amazing choice by them.
Love to lodge a complaint with this movie, by the way. You can't tell me you have a plasma sword and never use it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is crappy.
That's true. Does she use it though? Well, I guess we see the one guy use it. And it's not a plasma sword, but one guy has just like a big sword in his mech that we see for one whole second. But I don't know.
She uses the plasma sword.
Part of the problem with her is there's just this big ending bit where she just does a bunch of backflips and kills all the guys, but it doesn't look really that great. Like it looks fine, but it's just not specific enough for me to even. She could have done a plasma sword in the middle, and I would have totally missed it. But I don't know. Cool. It's pretty cool.
Amazing.
Also, it's weird because she's able to use robot vision to like bounce a fucking blast off a thing to hit another guy to hit another guy. But all the robots are still just firing blindly at her. Where's their robot vision? Did she invent that?
You could only do that with the fusion of human and AI. A human alone or an AI alone could never be smart enough.
That's what it would seem like. And, good for her. How psyched were you when you saw the big laser sword come out of Simu Liu's hand, though?
I loved it so much.
I was like, did that replace his middle finger? That looks weird.
It was weird how it came out.
Well, AI and fingers, it probably just is like, I don't know, it doesn't matter how many fingers he has. No one ever keeps track of that. I think it's super weird that he's been in 2 movies where one guy has a big razor sword come out of his hands.
Good point, yeah.
Well, how is that the only, memorable villain in Shang-Chi? And then he also makes a big whip of stuff, which is what basically he does with the 10 rings when he gets them. But yeah, he loves laser swords. And he absolutely destroys the robot too. It's crazy that he doesn't kill her. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. This movie's weird.
It's not good is what it is.
No, it's not good.
So I finally got here. So what she sees is 2 arms from mechs, a razor blade, and an arm cannon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they get. So,
that is what she gets.
Mm-hmm. And she uses them.
I wish one of them was pipe because she comes
and
out
a pipe.
With a pipe.
Yeah.
I really wish it said pipe.
The robot was probably like, well, we're not using that. No. I've seen these. This is cool shit. We're going to use a pipe.
God.
Yeah. It's weird that they are like tracking Simu Liu's movements a bunch of times too. Like they can see him before he even strikes them. It's like, you've never laser fought him before. We didn't even know he had this.
It's the real-time learning. Plus, she's really good at chess. I feel like they were trying to lean into the chess a lot with her. I don't know.
They did.
That's how I rationalized it. I'm like, well, she's good at chess, so she's unstoppable.
Chess is easy shorthand in bad movies and other stories to be like, this person is smart. They know how to play chess.
Yeah, she's a 71 streak against Deep Blue. No one's ever done that, So
yeah.
Good for her.
That's pretty cool.
I do like how she's in check, and then before she goes for a meeting, she's like, "Oh no, rook to A9 checkmate." The computer must be like, "Oh man, I thought I had her this time. I was so close."
Yeah.
Sadness incoming.
But speaking of I was so close, remember when fucking Simu Liu's hand goes back to his arm and he's like, I'm not fucking done. Let's go. His boss gets a new health bar.
Reminded me of Iron Giant.
Second phase.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what the Iron Giant does. He
It's
can
so
do
cool.
it too.
And this is something I assume he did himself. Like he came up with this idea. There's no way mom put this in his kit.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the technology is, even with the sword, how it like comes out, like right where his middle finger would be, and then becomes the chain sword, which is amazing. I don't know. I was a big fan of this scene. Honestly, I loved it. I'm like, oh, you got me, movie. You got me.
Yeah, he's on Team Harland. Like I hope he blows everybody up and we can see more of him.
I was ready for the movie to end with like J-Lo blowing up the ship, but igniting their atmosphere and dying.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's how it'll end. And I would have been okay with it.
I was ready for the movie to end with Harlan succeeding, igniting Earth's atmosphere, and everyone's dead.
Oh, yeah. Bold choice.
Like, good. Now there can't be a sequel.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll save that.
Yeah, do you think they're going to make a sequel to this?
Oh, absolutely.
Again, none of these movies can make any money or be successful by any metric besides they said it was. So maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not.
But it's Netflix, right? Like, what do they got to lose? Like, why wouldn't they?
Good question.
Well, they might not if J-Lo is like, everyone hated it, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, but that's the
get
thing.
a new person.
Most of her movies are this, you know?
I don't know that most of her movies are this bad.
That's true.
I just feel like the direct to Netflix or the Netflix model is like it doesn't like they can just there's no box office to point to being like that stunk. They can just be like this was the most watched movie in this time frame and it was perfect and everyone loved it and we're making 4 more.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It's hard to say because like none of this matters. Like this didn't do anything or it did everything. You could tell either story.
And Netflix has unlimited money. Like there's no reason for them not to make 7 Atlases.
And maybe this just cost like not that much money.
For humanity, perhaps.
And it's robots, so you can replace everybody but her. Like you can make Simu Liu doesn't even have to come back. I mean, he probably would, but he doesn't have to.
You could convince me that she could come back.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
or sorry, that she doesn't have to come back. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have a new main character in the movie named Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
People will assume it's the mech. Nobody watched it. So like they'll just go, yeah, Atlas, the robot she's standing behind. That's gotta be it.
I know it seems
That's
silly,
what I assumed.
But I think we can get away with it.
I think so too.
We can get away with whatever we want. No one can stop us. Yeah.
Might as well. I mean, that Mark Wahlberg movie's coming out, so maybe that'll be the hot new thing, and that's what they'll want to make a bazillion of. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if they made more Rebel Moons, even though nobody watched it and it cost $1 billion. Like, why not? Especially because the CEO keeps going out and being like, it was really good. Everybody liked it. As good as Barbie. You know what? That was a success. So you go, okay, well, you're making more than I would assume because of how successful it was. Otherwise, what's the point?
Man, I don't know that there's a single streamer that's botching it harder than Netflix right now.
Yeah. At least Quibi got in and out, you know?
But
they didn't waste our time.
But money, I guess, would be the only retort. Like, they have so much.
Yeah, I mean, what's their stock price like?
Oh, I'm sure it's, the stonks are great, I'm certain.
Yeah, it's okay. It's at a high, but it's not that much higher than it was in March. No, actually, it's doing pretty well. I would say, like, yeah, it's doing pretty well. I mean, this movie is really good. Yeah, no, okay. So it isn't doing super well. So its height was it was $700 per share in 2021, and then it tanked down to 200 a share, and now it's back up to 600 something. So it's kind of building back, but like it has not. It feels like we almost got it right. We were almost like, oh yeah, no, this sucks, and then we could have been done, but for some reason it kept going.
I mean,
I don't know.
They like, I'm not here to defend Netflix, but they are doing the thing where they're just like, we do other things now, like sports and live comedy, and like it'll be a lot of shitty movies and Atlases, but like they're gonna stream like NFL games on Christmas, and they'll point to that and be like, we triple our subscriber count because people are addicted to football. Like,
right.
That is the
But
future for this.
If you have the version with ads, then you're not allowed to watch the football.
Yeah, probably. That's
well, and most of their shows are good. Like their reality shows, you know, kind of work for what they're doing, but then they're like actual prestige shows. You know, Beef last year, Blue Eyed Samurai, like Umbrella Academy's coming back. I Think You Should Leave. Like Netflix has some real winners. It's just these movies all stink.
Yeah,
they got to stop making movies.
You got Bridgerton, I assume.
People love Bridgerton. Heartstopper is very popular with the youth, which is very important because they only watch TikTok and Heartstopper.
Right.
So it's like it's very popular with them. What else do they have?
Well, they got that Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. I'm curious what they'll say about that when that happens. So they're like, greatest boxing fight ever shown ever.
For sure.
Try and prove us wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, if a Mike Tyson is still in good enough shape that he punches Jake Paul in the head and he actually dies, it will be the greatest match of all time.
Is that what you're rooting for, Diggins? Jake Paul's death on live Netflix?
I don't want Jake Paul to die, but we can agree that the funniest thing would be if Mike Tyson punches him in the head once and he dies.
Yeah, no pushback from me on that one.
That'd be pretty funny. I mean, yeah, it would be funny just because you'd look back on it a year later and go, what did we think was going to happen? It's Mike Tyson. He's the biggest guy and the best boxer ever. And then just some guy. Yeah, he killed him.
This used to be like a thing people talked about where they'd be like, would you take $10 million to go 1 minute, to just survive 1 minute in the ring with Mike Tyson in his prime? And the answer is, of course not. He'd fucking kill you.
Yeah.
We like to point out Mike Tyson is an old man.
All right. Mike Tyson, so you hear what DJ's saying about you? Mike Tyson?
Yeah,
friend of Hoboken and pigeons and stuff. Come next time you're in Hoboken, checking on your pigeons. Come see what DJ wants to say about you in person. I think you're DJ, going to get a little bit different.
Are you one of those people who sees like a WNBA player and you're like, beat her though?
Oh, stop it. How dare you? That's like
DJ's going to get Joanna manned by fucking Mike Tyson.
What about an old WNBA player, right? Like, I won't be sexist, but I will be ageist.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
I think they'd still smoke me, personally.
It depends on how old. If they're like 100, I might have a shot. But also, me beating an NBA player in any stretch means I'm going to have to make a shot, and that's impossible. So, like,
that's a good point.
I get an extra, 10 feet of vert somehow. Maybe I get like a cherry picker, then maybe I can win.
Do you think you could make a shot against Charles Barkley today?
No.
Like,
no.
If
one
what?
Shot?
Is he like in front of me?
If he held his hand as far up as he could go, that I could throw a ball high.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I don't think I can like cross him over and dribble so well. I can break his ankles and go for a layup. Like I think I can. I think like there's a shot I can beat up 100-year-old Charles Barkley, but I just don't think I can beat a basketball player at basketball because I can't play basketball.
Yeah, DJ, if I went up against you in a basketball match today, I couldn't get a shot in.
Yeah.
All right. I guess it's like a bad analogy. I'm just trying to explain that, like, I know that Mike Tyson is a name, and that's the reason that Jake Paul did this. It sounds like, oh my God, it's Mike Tyson, but he's still an old man. Like that part cannot be lost in this.
No, I mean, I know he's probably not going to kill Jake Paul with a single punch because he's much older. He's not that strong anymore. So it's also a thing where it feels like you think about it for a second, it's pointless because it's like, yeah, man, if Jake Paul wins, it's like, yeah, man, you beat up a man who boxed professionally like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That's not that impressive.
Right. This could only go
for an actual boxer.
Right.
Also, I'm looking at this now. I don't know how much Mike Tyson currently weighs, but he's usually in the not mid 200s, like in the 20, like 220 pounds.
Mhm.
And Jake Paul is like 180 pounds. So that's pretty good for Mike Tyson. Like,
Yeah, well,
got-
normally you would never let those two guys box because
Yeah.
they're in a completely different weight classes.
mm-hmm. Although, to be fair, I have played my roommate in college, Neil, loved the fight night games. And you can make your own player and do like play for the whole season. But they would get old and fat and like bad at boxing, and they fall off a cliff at a certain point. Like, you just cannot win with these guys. So I don't know what the reality of that is, but maybe there is just a wall where you're like, no, you can't even beat Jake Paul. I don't know. He probably can though. I don't know. Is there like odds on it?
Yeah, like Jake Paul's super heavily favored. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's funny to remember that in the first Rocky movie, Rocky is already so old that the idea of being a professional boxer is becoming ridiculous.
That's true. Yeah.
But also, like
that's a plot point in that movie where he's like, I've only got one more shot because I'm getting too old.
It's
and
crazy
then
to
by
me
Rocky
that,
4, it's like, I'm still here. I can do it.
and then a guy gets killed in the ring like we want, like it can happen. Just the right bunch of stuff needs to happen in a row.
Someone
you just need to get
can
lucky.
die.
Yeah, it used to happen at least once. Yeah, we need Jake Paul, and this is not what he's known for, but to get a little bit too cocky and come out with a big presentation, and then that'll be how we know, like, oh, he's going down, But
or what if Jake Paul kills Mike Tyson because he's old?
Ooh.
And Mike Tyson's not a great guy, so I think we'd
feel
all be
that bad about it.
Yeah.
Still not a great result. I don't know.
Well, Mike Tyson's dead. Jake Paul's in prison.
Netflix got some big numbers, probably.
Yeah, there's worse results.
Ted Sarandos would be like, see, this is why live sports better than Oppenheimer. This is, you put this in a theater, only 2 people show up, but you put it on Netflix, there was 18 million cats watching. So many eyeballs.
I have like a really hard time in these movies because they keep making them where like there's some sort of TV blood sport where like someone accidentally dies and then you can see the TV guy in the background go, whoa, this is the whole thing now. But I think Ted Sarandos would probably do that. He's the one that I like. Yeah, he would definitely. That would be jump one. It's like it's death shows now. And, that probably would be more profitable than more Atlas. But I don't know. That's the thing. Like, this looked expensive. What do you think the budget on this was? Did we talk about that?
It didn't look good, but it looked expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't mention this at all. The CGI of the robot, like, shambling around in environments looks really bad.
It's terrible. It's very terrible.
Oh my God.
You got a number?
Yeah. $100 million.
That's too much.
That's way too much.
My goodness.
That's too much for any movie, let alone a weird AI robot starring Jennifer Lopez movie. Like, what's your best case scenario, Netflix? Everybody watches it? Yeah. Like, who gives a shit?
This is in the no bueno category for sure.
I just really don't get them. Also, this is a podcast I do want to point out. Jennifer Lopez is, as far as I'm concerned, a scam. She's not real. She's not a real serious person, and she doesn't deserve to be an actor. So I want to put it out there so that I become famous like Io, and then this comes back to bite me, and then I get to hang out with Jennifer Lopez.
Who did she say was a scam?
Jennifer Lopez.
Oh,
yeah, specifically her. And she's taken a lot of shit for it, but I think it's pretty funny. And I do think in the future, it's going to be pretty hard to be famous and not have at least one thing that you like destroy your reputation with on a podcast.
If any one of us ever becomes famous, we are going on the Wahlberg apology tour.
Oh my God.
Man. That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a real tough one.
I'm going to go on Wahlberg protection program or something. Like, I think I'll be famous and then immediately, the letter will come to my house and I'll just have to start running, Like he's found me. I've made it onto his Wahlberg dar or something. And hopefully he sends, one of the brothers, gives them something to do. But because I don't think I'm going to get Mark.
Just been rusted in the closet.
Yeah, and I've seen Mark's schedule. It's mostly working out and praying and stuff. He doesn't have time. Otherwise, that's how you get you fall off, you get soft, you stop grinding, you start
That's true.
assassinating all the podcasters who say mean things about you.
That's 100%.
Got to rise above. Oh,
Speaking
man.
of this being a podcast, anything else on the wheel, Nando?
Nah, that's it. I mean, there's like some other stuff, but I feel like we're pretty much done. Any other thoughts on Atlas?
I'll give you this. Is it woke? Yes, on the pronoun line alone. That's like
Yeah,
you are
but I
first
feel
ballot
like-
Hall of Famer woke.
I feel like that's supposed to be a joke, though, which makes it
Mhm.
not woke because they're being like, haha, it's funny when people tell you their pronouns.
The movie's taking it genuinely, so I'm putting it in woke. I will not be swayed on this. I saw that and I'm like, it's woke.
It's woke because it's a movie about getting over your racism, but it's not woke because it's a movie about getting over your racism about technology or something.
Yeah, also
And
super
products.
environmentalism.
It's a movie about how AI is
environmentalism.
cool and good, and the villain cares about climate change.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, I think I got to go with not woke.
I think so too.
I'll be the lone dissenter. In my opinion, I dissent. I say it is woke. So that'll be my dissension.
I'm curious. There's probably a lot of stuff in the very beginning that can read as woke or not woke, like when the AI takes over India or whatever. You could get a lot of the specifics, and then maybe like America is there flying a little, flag and being awesome at that. What about the part where they salute the troops because she takes all their dog tags? Like, that's not that woke, is it?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
It's true.
That's respecting.
I'm sticking with it.
troops.
Like I said, I can dissent 2/3 dissension or 1/3
right.
dissension.
Well, you guys want to hit to our classic segment?
I would love to.
I would
All
love
right.
that.
DJ, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. Okay, so I have something to recommend, but it's one of those shitty geographical location recommendations. But we've all done it before, and it's fine. Before that, I watched the 4-hour Jane Nicholson video, which means that was my content taken for the week. And Nando, I know you wrecked it last week, but I just want to co-sign. It's great. The Star Wars Galactic Cruiser 4-hour video. Everyone should watch it. It's amazing. So Nando hit all the points last week.
Pretty good. I don't know if you saw the article that was going around that was like, I worked at Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. That was pretty funny. Anybody should check that out.
And it did the thing that she talked about in the video of using the full legal names for everything.
Yeah. Sus.
It's great.
Sus. So yeah, the defense against has been quite funny because I'm sure Disney is not happy with how viral this has gone. That someone could put out a 4-hour video and be like, "Yep, I'm taking it all in, and I'm gonna add to the discourse that was bad." But anyway, so that aside, so I wasn't able to take any new content this week. It's 4 hours. That's all the time. That's all of my precious spare time. I did, however, in a busy weekend, go to a show in New York City. And it's called Dungeons and Dragons, the 20 Sided Tavern.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great.
Oh, now that you managed to shake me, you win.
Yeah. Well, listen, the first time it was Jackson's fault, so blame my son for getting horribly ill.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about that while you were in the bathroom. Diggins was like, I still blame him for that.
Yeah,
I'll never forgive this infant.
Yeah, now you'll probably never go to the show that you could go to.
Yeah.
So what is it? It is an immersive, interactive D&D show where, quite literally, they play a game of Dungeons and Dragons on the show. It's 3 actors, and it's mostly improv, obviously, but they are actually playing Dungeons and Dragons where they're doing the rolls, and they have an overhead camera, so you're seeing it in real time, and they're using stats and hit points and armor class and everything. But the little twist is you, the audience, get to impact the outcome because there's a little mobile website you go to on your phone and you vote on things that happen during the show. So from start to where you pick which class they are to just different attacks and actions they take throughout the show. It's very funny. It is quite inside baseball. So if you are not super familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, you might be like, what the fuck's going on? I went with my campaign, people are currently playing with right now, and one of our friends brought his wife because she wanted to come along. For your guys' info, it was Bob brought Lindsay, and she was quite confused but still enjoyed it. We did go to a bar beforehand. I'm not saying it helped, but I'm just saying that it did happen. So yeah, it's called the 20 Sided Tavern. It's in New York City. If you're not in New York City and you're like, wow, this sounds really cool, I'd love to do it. I am like sure this will tour eventually. I think it was in
No, never.
No, right, it'll never tour. I think it was in like Montreal before this, but it feels like a show built to tour because it's like once you've tapped the well of all of the local denizens who are very much into Dungeons and Dragons and want to do this, you move on to your next city and then tap that well and then just kind of go around the country doing it. That's how I imagine this would go. Feels like a very movable and portable show and one you can put in a theater and be like, yes, we will draw a great gate for you every night. Also, the theater it's in the city, it's at Stage 42. Very, very nice. I'd never been there before, but it was like super dressed up and it's like an off-Broadway show, but like really high production value for an off-Broadway show focused around Dungeons and Dragons. You would never guess that that's like what this was for until you step inside and be like, oh, this is Dungeons and Dragons. But I loved it. I really loved it. And again, like if you're into D&D and it's feasible for you to go to New York City to see the show, you should absolutely do it. But if that is not possible for you, I like hope this will tour eventually, or that there's like some facsimile, but it is really good. I also think it's like a Hasbro licensed thing because it was like all over the playbill and stuff. So like I think they gave like the green light on it, and like it makes sense. I feel like interactive immersion theater experience for like how D&D is evolving, where we have like so many podcasts and like different gaming things, and like how D&D is kind of stretching. Like this feels like a next evolution that makes sense. So again, I feel a little cringe wrecking something that you might not be able to do, listeners, but and
we've never recommended live productions in New York City before.
I know we've done it. I just feel bad because if there's someone in Iowa, if the Thompsons right now are listening and they're like, I would love to, but I can't. I already spent all my money.
Then go fuck yourselves, Thompsons.
Yeah.
I already spent all my money going to the Galactic Star Cruiser. I can't fly to New York and see the 20 Sided Tavern. I feel bad for the Thompsons. But that's my rec because I watched the fucking 4-hour video, which was great, but that's all my media content for any given week. And I had a lot of Memorial Day barbecues. I can recommend those. Do Memorial Day barbecue. It's so fun. But yeah, 20 Sided Tavern, D&D live experience at Stage 42. That's my recommendation. Diggins, what about you?
Just two quick things for me. One, a movie I rewatched this week that I first saw many years ago. I rewatched the 2011 Muppets movie.
Oh,
with Jason Segel.
With
right.
Jason Segel.
Right, Segel.
Yeah,
not related to Steven Seagal.
Maybe he is. How do you know?
Because they're spelled differently.
Oh, that's usually a dead giveaway.
Russell Crowe, Kurt Russell all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Jason Segel and Amy Adams and the Muppets. It's a really fun, cute movie, I think. It's a Muppet movie. It's a little musical. They have these little songs. It's like very like fourth wall breaky, where they like talk about it being a movie or like traveling by map and stuff. But I don't know. I just think it's really fun. It's really captures that sort of chaotic but like spirit of the Muppet Show. I think in a good way. And just, everyone loves the Muppets, even though Disney refuses to let them out of the vault anymore.
Yeah. Isn't that the thing too? I think that's where the Uncle Deadly character comes from. And he's like maybe my favorite new Muppet in a while.
So he doesn't come from there because the only new Muppet in the entire movie is Walter.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else was in something else before.
Oh, really?
And like brought them back in it. But he wasn't like anything that anybody would have known or had fondness for before that movie.
Yeah, I wonder. Now I'm curious what his thing was. But yeah,
he
you're
was
right.
Just like some kind of like random background Muppet or something.
That's
no, I agree. Uncle Deadly has been great. And I'm glad that he's become like a mainstay of the Muppets whenever Disney lets them come up for air for a few seconds.
Yeah, like a sassy little guy who's like, Piggy, you're such a diva. Love that. Very good.
But my main rec, of course, is asking you, do you have the balls, the bollocks, the testes to see the movie no one is seeing?
Oh,
that's better than before. I think we're getting there. Garfield?
That's right.
Not Atlas,
Garfield.
obviously. It's everybody's seeing Atlas. So
Yeah,
Is
I
that-
did see
I haven't-
Garfield. Not a good movie.
what? What? That's bullshit. Is he a little guy and then a big guy?
There is a little guy and a big guy.
I like that.
But no, I'm ranking Furiosa of Furiosa.
A Mad Max Saga.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mad
Furiosa
Max
Mad
Saga.
Max Saga, the prequel to the 2015 movie Mad Max Fury Road, also known by people of taste and sophistication as perhaps the best movie ever made.
Until Atlas.
Until Atlas, of course.
Until right now, yeah.
And listen, is it as incredible as Fury Road? I mean, like, that's not even a fair question. As I said, Fury Road is perhaps the best movie ever made. And holding it to that standard just simply wouldn't be kind. But I actually do think Furiosa is an incredible movie. And I think what is helpful in that regard as to having a follow-up Fury Road is that it's not really trying to. It's really being its own thing. It's not just like constant chase action movie like Fury Road was. It's more of a sort of like epic or like a mythic tale about like this one character and sort of like charting her journey. And I think that's to the movie's benefit. Chris Hemsworth is like doing a very different from his normal performance. Because, you know, normally he's like kind of jokey or very serious action man.
Yeah, like Rake. Yeah, like Rake.
Usually he's Rake or Thor. Those are his two options. But this, he's playing the villain, Dementis. And he's like really going for it. He's like over the top and like crazy and like losing it. But also like there are some crucial moments where like you really have to take the character seriously and like the emotions of it. And I think he handles those just as well. So great performance by him. And Anya Taylor-Joy is a great Furiosa too. You know, like Charlize Theron is perfect in Fury Road, of course, but I think Anya Taylor-Joy does a really good job of it's a lot of like non-verbal acting. So the fact that she has like the big eyes and like her very recognizable face, I think helps a lot. Because it allows for a lot of subtle movement that really tells you a lot about her character and like what she's thinking. And just overall, like, yeah, I loved it. I mean, listen, I mean, I don't know if I should say I was always going to love it because I love Fury Road so much, but also if it hadn't been good, I would have been crushingly disappointed like Kingsman 2. So I don't know that necessarily should be a warning to you that I love Fury Road. But listen, go out and see it. Go out and see it in a theater because it's big and sweeping and visually beautiful. It's a little more digital than like the practical of Fury Road, or like the mostly practical. Of course, there was still CGI in that movie. But I think they work it because they saturate the world with it in a way that they didn't quite do with Fury Road, so that it feels more like the world these characters are inhabiting, and I think it works. But yeah, no, Furiosa's great. You should see it. See it in the theater. Get that box office number up. What about you, Nando? What do you have to rec?
You know, I haven't seen any good movies recently. I don't think, besides this, obviously. But I did watch a TV show, kind of movie kind of thing. It's hard to describe it. I don't even know what they would describe it as. But South Park had a new episode of South Park. And I'm like, listen, it's 2024. How funny can this be? But this episode is like, it's 40 minutes long or whatever. So like mini movie about Ozempic. And it's split into two stories that are both really funny. One is about the kids trying to navigate the American healthcare system. That's really funny. And then the other one is about Stan's dad accidentally joining a gang because he thinks it's regular drugs, but it turns out it's just Ozempic. And like the American government is trying to destroy it because of sugar and stuff. It's not perfect, and it's got a lot of the South Park problems, but like I thought this was like pretty funny, and it's pretty silly, and yeah, it's got takes a lot of shots at like, you know, calling your doctor to call the specialist to blah blah blah, and like that part was pretty good. That was floating around, I think, on the internet a little bit. That's what got me thinking about it. Was that clip of them doing healthier stuff was pretty funny. But just overall, like, I feel like the thing with South Park is whenever they pick the wrong target, it becomes unbearable. But every so often, when you point them at something that is either just funny to make fun of or someone who needs to be kind of taken down a peg, it can be pretty good. And this is that first thing mostly, where it's just like kind of a silly thing. And, you know, like people that are using Ozempic now and stuff like that, or people that can afford to use it. So it's generally, it's a pretty like safe thing to take jokes at. But also, like, I think it comes down on an interesting like place on all of that that I wasn't like fully expecting. So yeah, I didn't hate it. I actually mostly liked it. Like, I think it's probably the best South Park thing they've made in a while, but only because it feels like the tightest. And it gave Randy a really stupid thing to do that was like pretty entertaining. Like it let him be pretty dumb, but also like that plot line really felt like it worked. But yeah, besides that, I don't know. I don't think I've done too much. I feel like I watched stuff, but I don't know what any of it is, so it doesn't count, I guess. I don't know. I watched some of the Mooncat video about the environmental or
evolutionary psychologist.
Evolutionary psychologist, yeah, but I'm kind of taking that one a step at a time. But I like it. It's interesting.
I enjoyed that one. I watched it, and there's no one who tells on themselves harder than people who ask why the female orgasm is so rare.
Yeah, that part is pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
I think I think it's an interesting video, and it's just like, it's weird, guys, that if you're not like, I don't even want to say like cool and normal, because it's not that necessarily, but just like, if you've never tried to dip your toe into any of this, you've never heard any of this stuff, and you're exposed to all of it, and you're like, this is crazy that this is a whole subculture that just exists that is awful, but also just like so weird. But you know, I'm sure there's people who like dipped their toe in it and went, oh, this is weird, and they were exposed to it. I think for a lot of it, we just were too old for it, or like we kind of aged over it, which is nice. One of those things I'm happy to have missed.
And you'll be shocked to learn that underneath all the science babble, it's mostly misogyny.
Yeah, misogyny and like you know, eugenics and stuff like that. Mostly, you know, It's great. And yeah, it's a fun companion piece to the 4-hour long Star Wars hotel video. It's the 3.5 hour long behavioral psychology video, or evolutionary psychology video. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Besides that, you know, that's pretty much it. What are we doing next week, fellas?
Garfield.
Hold on. No, we're not. Are we?
I don't know. Are we?
I mean,
probably have some debts to pay off.
I'm pretty sure there's something coming out next week.
Is
there not?
So.
When's Inside Out?
Oh, June 19th. But like, do we have to?
When's Bad Boys?
Oh, that is soon.
I think that's June 7th. So
okay,
the week after. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we got one of those coming up. Yeah, maybe not.
That
maybe
I'm excited for.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be weird as hell.
Yeah, no, like Joey Pants is the villain, or like framed, but you know.
Well, yeah, but he's also.
Yeah, I thought he was killed in the third one, right?
Oh, guys, I know what we're doing. We're doing Unfrosted.
Oh my god. We're real men. We like Unfrosted and No Feelings, 17-year-olds, all the normal stuff, you know, cool and normal. I did watch, you know, another thing I watched the Everybody's in LA show, the one with John Mulaney.
Yeah.
And like Jerry Seinfeld's on the first episode of that. And like, it's funny because he's kind of like Chappelle for me, where like, he's very annoying. And I wish he could go back to being cool and making jokes about airplane food. Because this new thing sucks, but I still do enjoy hearing him make a little joke. So it's very upsetting. I think Chappelle has kind of crossed over that barrier for me of like, it's not even fun for any of it. But with the Seinfeld stuff, it's like, it just taps into a like feeling in my childhood that like, I think if I watched Unfrosted, I'd still kind of like it. I don't know. We'll see. I like Jim Gaffigan. You know, he's cool.
Is he in it?
Yeah. He's like a main character of it. I think he's the bad guy or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. He makes Frosted.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you need a movie that is so like tame, like to get Jim Gaffigan to be in your movie, it has to be about Pop-Tarts.
That's true.
So
he's so squeaky clean. The Pope will let him perform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And good for him, because he's actually funny and cool. So I like him. But yeah, we'll figure it out, I guess. Maybe on Frosted. We do have some debts. And there's other movies that we never did that are coming to streaming, like Abigail and like kind of Imaginary was. So like, if anybody has one of those that they've been thinking about, or like found, later in the game, like with Imaginary, and like, oh, this is actually pretty weird, let us know.
If this podcast comes out soon enough to influence our decision.
It's true. Yeah. And I feel like people love, the people love Abigail. Maybe it'll be that. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of movies out these days that are just like coming out on streaming, and you're like, oh yeah, that was very popular, but none of them made money because the movies are bad now. But how about plugging? DJ, do you have anything to plug for the fine people?
Roses and Rejections at some point. I don't know when, but at some point. We're like bouncing around just with what we're gonna cover. So I don't know. That's it. Diggins?
Nope. Nando?
I had some videos that are out. My Newsnap video on Sasquatch came out, but then that means my new 2 videos that are coming out next week on Gilgamesh and Thena, the Eternals, are on Nebula now, and I think they're quite good.
Favorite?
They're more interesting than you'd expect. Athena has 2 kids that merge into one kid with 4 arms, and that's something that didn't happen in the movie, but they probably should have put in because it's more interesting than anything she did in the movie, besides have like eternal dementia or whatever. But like, yeah, there's some stuff in there that's pretty good. And then my video on the weird Netflix movie that everyone watched by accident, which is not Atlas, but is Atlas-like. I ended up putting a clip of Atlas in it because it illustrated the point a little bit. That will be on YouTube probably like tomorrow, so probably by the time this is out, which means my next video, Lessons Marvel Cinematic Universe Come Learn from the X-Men show that was good, it'll be on Nebula. The only 2 other things, we did the charity stream with Drake and a bunch of other YouTubers, played Fortnite.
With Drake?
That Drake, yeah, the one and only. No, it's so funny. There's just so many Drakes that stink. No, but this is comic Drake. He's cool, not a weird rapper or Drake and Josh guy. So the best Drake so far. I mean, probably. I don't know too many other Drakes, honestly. Uncharted, I guess he's a Drake. He's doing Deceptions and stuff. Name. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so that was fun, but that is, happened. So you can still watch that. It's on my channel. I was partnered up with Matt with 4 T's, and he was really cool. Really good comic YouTuber. And so thank you to everybody that like donated to that. And I hope to never play Fortnite again. Not that I didn't like it, but I feel like I could see getting sucked into it and spending a bazillion V-Bucks, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is I was on the Movie Struck podcast this week talking about Old. That came out this week, and I was re-listening to it, and it's pretty funny. That movie's weird, and it doesn't make any sense. And the more you think about it, the more you're like, they are doing the absolute dumbest things on this beach. The people that are there and the people that are in charge of the beach are both like wasting this wonderful opportunity. So it's a very fun podcast. Yeah, like I said, it's called Movie Struck. I tweeted about it. So if you found my Twitter, you can find it there. But yeah, definitely go look at that because it's great. Until next week, you guys. I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
See ya.
Ooh, love you.